HANGOUT with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Hello, howdy. How are we doing? Probably shouldn't yell, my son's asleep. But how are we doing? I am still kind of upset, still kind of angry. But you know what? It's one of those you got to take, I suppose. City 1, Tottenham 0. 80-something minute. Late 80-something minute. I don't know if it was a head or a foot. Honestly, I'm just already trying to numb it out. But look, we lost. It's over. FA Cup run? I don't even know if you can begin to call it a run. Maybe we started jogging. We were walking. We started jogging. And then we just rolled our ankle on the first. We were like, all right, we're feeling good. First lap in the run. Already feeling good. And then you rolled your ankle on the second lap. And you know what? We were supposed to run, to my knowledge, about 8 or 9 laps. We only made it around the park once. But you know what? Bitter pill to swallow. So why not? I'm not going to say that. That's out of line. Because I was going to say it's a bitter pill to swallow. But why swallow all alone when you can swallow together the L of defeat? I said it anyway. I said I wasn't going to say it. That's quite perfunct of me. But hey, how are we doing? Look, I'm all over the place. You want to know why? Because emotionally, I don't want to accept what just happened. But realistically, we do have to accept it. We were so bad. One shot in 90 minutes of football is not enough. This is the second time we have failed to get it reminds me of Crystal Palace. If you remember at Selhurst Park when we did have one shot on target, 2 goals. One was an own goal. That was enough on the day to win. But more so upset. I don't know. Everything's making me upset. The fact that we're out the cup. The fact that we just look so damn bad. That this is really the second time. And it's second, third time that we've said, like, oh, this might be the worst I've ever seen us under Ange Postecoglou, at least going forward. Now, we're going to talk about it. There's obviously a slew of players to look at in this instance. But when in the first half, your most creative player is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and in the second half, your most error-prone player is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, you're really having problems on both halves there. So throughout the program of this show, I'm going to have the YouTube chat members, the YouTube family members, I should say, into the show. So if you are a member, Ash P went and grabbed hers. And then you go to the community section of the home of the YouTube page. Go to the United Spurs of America YouTube page. Go to the community section. And there's a link there. And I'll actually post it after I bring on these guests, my first 2 guests. They're more like family when I say guests. But let's call them guests for the sake of semantics. And I'll put the link again in the community section for the members, and that it'll only be visible to members. Ooh, VIP exclusive. I do want to try and do something special for the members. So the bare minimum I could do is at least once a month doing a members hangout. And I was going to do like a members phone in, but I thought it was I don't feel important enough to be like, have a one-on-one chat with Jacob after the match. Nah, it seems kind of Dr. Evil. That's why I think I did that hand gesture, but it makes me think of Austin Powers villain Dr. Evil. And I'm not that kind of guy. So, whether you support financially, you support anyway, you can always hit the like. It's free to do. Partake in the poll. That is also free to do. But I'm not going to keep going on anymore. Look, I'm just going to say thank you all for being here. And congratulations, Manchester City. You absolute frauds. I'll say that as well. You absolute pineapple eating frauds. I will also say that as well. So let me bring them out. Let's begin the hangout. No need to keep dabbling on my own. Let's bring to the stage, first and foremost, Chang. We've got Chang in the house. What's up, my friend? How you doing?
I'm doing very well here in Malaysia, although I can't lie, it could have been a lot better for all of us. The FA Cup loss notwithstanding, I'm not going to let that ruin my weekend because I am absolutely looking forward to spending time with my daughters, being away from them the whole weekday. And we still have another league game to come in midweek on the last day of January. So there is still something to look forward to. But yeah, I can't wait to get into the post-match reactions with you and with some of your other guests as well. And by the way, before I let you take over, to anyone who's watching right now, for regular viewers who know that I've been giving away memberships every now and then, all
I wouldn't
the
even say every now and then. It's all the time that I see you, Chang. Don't be humble now. You are always sprinkling the love in the chat. Don't be humble now.
yeah, but yeah, I when I first took notice of your channel, I think it was back in August. I think either August or even back in July. I really had high hopes for your channel, this community that you have built here with Michael and the various Spurs fans that come from all over the globe. Whether it's Paul Hotspur Hippie from down under, whether it's Kuva, sometimes maybe even people like Bobby Kang, Dave, the Irish Hotspur, as well as Miss Ash, who was also your co-host on your first ever members call-in. So this idea, this thing that you have all going on here, bringing all these different Spurs fans from different demographics, different nationalities, different races, religions, backgrounds, everything. I thought it's only fair that I hand out memberships to them so as to entice them to come back and hopefully give them a platform to speak up on the members talk show as the one that you're currently having on right now.
Well, speaking of members, and again, I say this when I say member, I preface it by saying YouTube, but it's more like family member here, part of the Spurs family, United Spurs of America, United World of America, we should say. One of the aforementioned names that you said there, Chang, helping us span the globe, connect the lines in between. We've got Ash, all the way from India. How you doing? What time is it?
It is 4:42 in the morning, and I was planning to, get a nice victory and then go to sleep like a normal person. But instead, I'm here to have a group cry. It'll be great. We'll all commiserate together and
Yes.
curse out all the players we can, get it out of our system, so that we can move forward to the league.
Well, hey, you said group cry. I like to think of it as this ain't the first time I've held a show after a disgusting loss, and we all have to come together as one and try and, let's first of all process. We're still in the moment. I think we're allowed to be angry, sad, disappointed, all the things, right? That people be like, oh, settle down, you shouldn't think this or say that, but I'm gonna say this. One shot. I almost said no shots because it really felt like 0 shots on target, 0 shots throughout I don't really remember us saying, wow, Ortega really saved City there. I don't remember that once. Chang, I'll start with you. Tell me right now, when that full-time whistle is blown, where are you at mentally? Don't hold back now. Don't say, oh, I'm trying to be positive and think. I'm talking about in that moment. He blow the whistle 3 times. Where are you at?
Not gonna lie, I'm not going to go and try and pepper this up or even sugarcoat it. It is deflating the defeat, and I think we still have a lot of work to get done. Big Ange has a big rebuilding task on hand. I mean, as a performance that was bad. I mean, I can't say too much about the first half because I was listening to the entire first half on BBC Live 5 on the radio. It was only 4 a.m. here in Malaysia when the first half kicked off, and I was too groggy and just too tired to even turn on the telly. But from what I picked up on the first half, it was as close as you could get to watching paint dry from a Spurs performance at home this season under Big Ange. And I really was hoping
paint drying. No, I'm saying, hey, if you did a nice little design and it was like a cool little mosaic, so to speak, if you did something like ooh-wee, I might enjoy watching that dry more. I don't even know that it was boring, like it was drying paint. It was more like just from the first half specifically, the press of City, they were pressing us like much like you. I'm running out of. I was gonna try and think of some kind of analogy.
You
and
were
then I
swarming
said
all
it,
over us.
and
Let's put it this way.
I said it. I said it in my head, and I was like, "No, I better not say that. I've already started off this show with a howler, so maybe I'm gonna settle down. And while I settle down, we're gonna bring up. All right, I'm settling down, but we're bringing up the show because we got another guest that wants to hang out. We've got Jose from Talking Ball and El Tel Cocarel. How are you doing, Jose? What's cracking?
This is suddenly looking a lot like a talk and ball takeover of United Spurs of America now.
Yeah, hey, the family stretch, the tentacles of an octopus can never be measured, they say. I mean, they can, but I'll say they don't. What's up, Jose? You're shaking your head.
I've had better days.
That was tough.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, there's no crying over spilled milk. We lost. We didn't create enough. We lost the game. But I don't want to hate on people, but there's one player that I do not want to see ever again in a Tottenham shirt. Simple. And there's one player I think that needs to be rested and given some time to build up his confidence, because he looks like he's playing like a rabbit in the headlights, and he did again tonight. So, but yeah, it's one of those. City were there for the taking, Jacob, because Haaland didn't play. You know, when I said Monday, Haaland's not playing, and you told me he's in Abu Dhabi and he's warm weather training, and he's playing.
Don't come here, rub my nose in it, Jose. I was wrong. You were right. I admit. I always say I am humble enough to admit when I was wrong. I got that spot. I was honestly, I don't know. I wasn't say operating in the sense of like, I mean, I just saw pictures of the man getting airborne, putting headers on ball, and pictures of him training with the first team, and I said, yeah, he's gonna play in some form. That's why I tried to at least loosely say he's gonna play, maybe not start, but he's gonna play, and he didn't either. So I was wrong on both of those fronts, technically, Jose. So you are right.
There's a website. There's a website that I use because I play fantasy football. So there's a website that I use on injuries, and it said clearly that he was not going to play in the FA Cup. They said that he wasn't fit to play in the FA Cup game, and they said this weeks ago. It wasn't even that he just came back now. They said it weeks ago. So they said that the first opportunity that he'll have to play or get minutes would be the league game next week. And that's why I said he's not playing. And I said that Monday he's not going to play. But anyway, how is everybody else? How are you, Jacob? I heard you started the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have my ADHD acted up. Who are we talking about? Who wasn't playing? Sorry.
Oh, you want me to say who I think from my comments from earlier? Or
No. You said were you talk? I thought you were talking about Madison.
No, Haaland.
Oh, Haaland. Oh,
Haaland.
Yeah, because I did a show, Ash, a couple days ago where I was saying that I think Erling Haaland's gonna play. I saw photos of him with everybody, and it was a big hoorah. The man was airborne. Bro, he was hitting the Jordan post, so I was like, he's going to play. But look, they didn't even need him to be better than us on the day. And honestly, again, from the first kick, I really thought that we were under a lot of pressure, and we weren't dealing with it well. We couldn't string together 2-3 passes. It's just not good enough. This is, again, worrying me in the sense that this is not the first time we've looked toothless in attack versus a team that really want to come at us. And honestly, I don't like matches in which we do not possess majority of the ball, and I do not like matches where we don't get fucking shots on goal. At the end of the day, shots on target is what you need to win a game. And it says we have one. It says we have one shot, but I don't know when. I couldn't tell you when the fuck it was. I don't remember. I don't remember at any moment being like, we really gave it a go there. We really challenged Ortega, the fucking off-brand cheese. People buy Velveeta. No one buy Ortega cheese here in the States. I know all three of y'all ain't from USA, but anyone in the USA knows what I'm talking about. Ortega cheese is fucking cardboard cheese. No one but we didn't even challenge him. We didn't even give him something to think about. I think once he had to make a decision out the whole, but it wasn't even a shot. It was like, just, do you come out or do you parry or not good. Not good enough on all fronts, in my opinion. Again, ending a year trophyless. Now, unless something immaculate happens, like that I don't see happening, unless something immaculate happens, we are going another year without a trophy. Now, I do caveat this feeling by saying, look, this was the first year. Did I realistically, in my realistic brain, logically think that we would go out there and win a trophy in Ainge's first year? No. What would, I mean, it would have to be something immaculate, like now, especially immaculate. But going out at the FA Cup in the first round, now going out at the second part of we beat Burnley. That's all we had to do. And then we play City. This was our second try in the FA Cup. To me, not good enough all around. I thought passing-wise, my man Cuti Romero, very woeful passing. Højbjerg was our most creative guy in the first half. Now, I know, Jose, so I do want to ask you about Højbjerg a little bit because, yes, in the second half, there was two giveaways in like 90 seconds that if Kevin De Bruyne, wowzers. Must have been the Jack Grealish hair. That's all I can say. It must have been a little bit of those long, luscious locks got in his eye and it fucked his vision. I don't know. But we got very lucky there. But in the first half, the only creative passer we fucking had, apparently, was Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Everyone else wanted to just either turn it over or get... I'm trying to understand. Was it their press? Was it that plus just how poor we are on the ball? Like Kulusevski getting bodied by everybody. I thought he was when I argue for Kulusevski, and I try really hard, sometimes a lot of shit. Sometimes he's okay, and he dunks on Nathan Ake, and I get to play a stupid fucking clip, LeBron James. You know what I mean? That sometimes happens. But that's starting to be more and more fleeting at every opportunity. And to me, again, just not good enough. Not good enough defensively, not good enough on the ball, not good enough in the midfield. Again, when your most creative player is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, you have a problem. In the second half, when that said creative player, Timo Werner. Okay, wait, I'm getting distracted. My ADHD is kicking in too now, Ash. It must be infectious because I'm really starting to remember how things transpired in that match, and it's really upsetting. But let's go with Højbjerg. Jose, I know you got something to say about Højbjerg. I saw you in the chat earlier saying something about Højbjerg. I know autocorrect kicked your ass on that one, but I want to give you the chance to tell me what did you make of Højbjerg? I mean, let me just start here. In the first half, was he our most creative player? Yes or no?
No.
Who was more creative than him in the first half?
I don't think he was creative. I don't think there was many creative people at all in the first half, Jacob. But
Højbjerg had 3 passes that was breaking the lines and that actually found a man. There was 3. I didn't see anyone else make that pass.
And the amount of times that he had the ball where Werner was free on the left-hand side and mad opening, acres of space, and he never put the ball out to him. And I counted on 3 occasions. I don't hate on Højbjerg. I never have done. There's people within the community that rave about him. I've never said one way or another. Tonight, though, I was actually writing down the minutes where he'd made mistakes in the first half and in the second half. And in the second half, I ended up screwing the piece of paper up and thinking, this guy is just mad. He was misplacing passes. His passes were under hit at times as well. He was falling over. He was air-shotting in our penalty area. I just thought
he was falling over a lot, wasn't he?
He kept falling over, but it was the air shot for the tackles.
Clearance. He was tackling in place. You know how like when you run and you fall, like in one his tackles, he was like sliding in, and he just like.
Jacob, have you seen FIFA 24 tackles? Like where you know, where you like the controller's out of your hand and you're just like tackling and you're just going flying in some other direction. It looked like that. It was like the reel from my FIFA games where I sucked. That's what it was.
But he was also not the only one. It was just an inability to get stuck in. Now it did look like a little bit Udogie there in the first half, slipped around a couple times. But outside of that, I thought defensively there were some bright spots. they didn't find much joy down our right hand side, or their right hand side, our left, being Udogi and Van de Veen there. Van de Veen really left, right, center, everywhere. I thought Van de Veen was outstanding. Really one of the players who can leave that match with his head held high, I think. And Destiny Udogi as well. I thought that there were moments where he came in and certain moments where he was good for us, but there was moments. I want to talk about Udogi a little bit because he's getting forward in dangerous areas and no one's fucking passing him the ball. And he's not the only one making these runs, and just no one. Romero refused to put a long ball in a forward direct. He would rather loft it to the far end, and to me, we just looked like we were scared, unsure of ourselves, unconfident. As someone said it earlier, you know, we ain't played in 2 weeks. I think it was Giuseppe. Big up Giuseppe. That said, you know, we ain't played in 2 weeks and we came out flat. I think flat. Like if a soda and you drinking it and it's carbonated, you know, and you leave it out too long, that's flat. But there's still some fucking soda in there for you to enjoy. It could be flat a little bit, but this was flat with no fucking soda. There was flies swimming in our soda, our flat soda. It was real. Just big up Bobby K. I'm you know, I try and think about what are the good takeaways. Van de Veen was showing us that he's back to being at least looking as close to what he used to be before that hamstring went. So that's good news. Destiny Udogi was, I thought, very well. Them two there on the left have a nice little partnership. Outside of that, Skip had a nice like turn on the ball when he came on. That was nice.
I thought Romero did. I thought Romero played all right as well, though. I thought Romero put his hands up as well. I did. I thought he put his hands up. Yeah, Porro, I think was trying.
I'll tell you what it was. Honestly, it was that we lost the midfield battle. We did not like. I do not know what the number of recoveries was that we did, but I don't think it was a lot. And if you're playing City and you're not recovering the ball, that means that City has all the possession and all of the attack. And you know the number of times I saw Kulu not passing the ball to Timo Werner. And you know where was Kulu? Kulu was everywhere. He was not where he was supposed to be. You know, we were losing the midfield battle because there was nobody to pass to. Like that's why Højbjerg was supposedly in the first half our most creative midfielder, whatever that means. Simply because there was nobody to pass the ball to. He was the only one who was passing the ball to a teammate. That's because he was a little bit behind. Everybody was just losing the ball in midfield. So we had no chance whatsoever, and that's why the attack looked toothless because they barely even got the ball. Like, no, there's no point for Timo Werner to make those runs if no one's going to pass him the ball. You know, and Brennan Johnson. I mean, the lesser said, the better. You know, honestly,
No, not the less you say. I need the more you say, Ash. Tell me more. You don't just dance over. What's up with Brennan? What's up? What's he doing?
You know what? Like with Brennan Johnson, we can all see he's not good enough. When Kulu went back to the right, as much as nobody had a good performance, including Kulu, he still looked much better on the right than Brennan did. So Brennan did not get the ball. He looked like he was being bullied off it. He was like a child playing in a man's game. So it was very, very sad to see. And, you know, I don't have a problem with the fact that we lost. I mean, yeah, I do, but not as much as how we lost. You know, the point of getting Ange in was that you try, you just go for it, you be adventurous. You know, it's not about like hanging back and defending and being conservative. The point is to make to make the runs, to take the chance. If the ball goes through, so what if you lose possession to City? You anyway don't have possession half the time. Just go for it. Like that's what irritated me the whole time because the courage was absent.
Did y'all hear that, or am I tripping?
Yeah, no, I heard it too. I thought I was tripping.
Okay, that was. I don't know what that was. What? Look, Brennan Johnson, Chang, talk to me. I hear an echo from somebody. I don't know if that's you, Jose.
I just unmuted
echo.
myself, so it couldn't be from my end.
But Chang, talk to me about Brennan Johnson. What do you think as far as what Ash was saying there, and what did you take from his 90 minutes?
From what I saw in the few minutes that I was able to watch the match live, when Madison came on, I thought he didn't really impose himself the way we thought he would. There was this replay which was playing towards the end of the match before the Højbjerg mistake, where I saw, I believe it was Timo Werner. Timo Werner, he got himself centrally, and he played a very beautiful through pass to the middle that Johnson tried to latch onto, but unfortunately Ederson came rushing up from his goal line and got to the ball first. I thought that if that ball from Timo Werner had been played slightly under hit or with less weight on it, and Johnson was able to get onto it before Ederson got to it as he was rushing up from the goal. Maybe if Johnson had done better with that, we would have been speaking a lot differently about the match right now. But listen, Brennan Johnson is still a work in progress. I'm not going to say he's an abject failure just yet, although his price tag with the British tax on it doesn't really help matters when it comes to evaluating his half-term performance with Tottenham Hotspur. I still feel he needs that father figure, that sort of like mentor to help him along. And with Son Heung-min away at the Asian Cup right now, that's not really helping matters because no one was really communicating to him. I felt when I saw the last third or the last quarter of that second half after Madison came on, we would really benefit now from another English midfielder, someone who can actively help Brennan Johnson develop his game. I know that Madison is coming back now, and hopefully Madison will be able to pick up from where he left off and help the likes of Brennan Johnson and Manuel Solomon get into the game, going down the flanks on either side. But yeah, this wasn't the game to deploy Brennan Johnson on the far right without Madison starting, put it this way. I thought Brennan Johnson was just wasteful, and the few times that he tried to impose himself, he really wasn't doing all that much with the ball. Although I did see a few drives, a few darting drives into the penalty box by Johnson, but there was absolutely no end product to it. So let's just hope that Madison coming back would elevate his game before Son Heung-min does eventually return. And until such time, if today's performance is anything to go by, I really would think twice about starting Brennan Johnson on the 31st of January in our final league game of the month of January. Back to you, Mr.
Jacob, sorry, I know Jose and you haven't spoken about it, but like I do need to add to the Johnson thing because I'm seeing a lot of things in the chat saying we should have patience with Johnson. Patience is putting the kid in training, making him train with the first team, and then him earning his place. Patience is not starting that person every game for 90 minutes. That's not what patience is. Patience is every player on that first team earns their place, but they all do training together and they're all treated equally in training. So I'm sorry, the idea that you should keep playing the player and starting the player as showing patience is the wrong way to view patience or showing confidence in the player.
Yeah,
Because if
that's an
other players lose confidence, if like Brian Hill and Johnson, I don't really see a difference right now. And what message does it send to Brian Hill that he can play that level and Johnson can play the same level, but you'd start Johnson every game and Brian Hill doesn't even come off the bench. So I'm sorry, it's the wrong message to send to a team when you play someone when they're not contributing.
That's an interesting topic that I will love to get this next guest view on, as well as the match. And what a lovely guest it is. When I see this man's face, definitely brings a smile to everyone's face. And probably a time in which we so require some slight happiness. My northern neighbor, my family member, brother from another mother, some may say, so nice they tripled him. We've got Bobby K in the house. How you doing?
Oh, you made a brown man go red there, man. You trying to make me blush? It worked. It worked.
Hey, I haven't had you on, haven't had the luxury of having you on the channel in quite some time. I needed to butter
been
up the
hiding all
pan
week,
before
buddy.
I put you on.
Well done, buddy. Well done. I'm sizzling now. Thank you for that. Good evening. Hey, Ash. Hey, Jose Chang. How are you guys? How's everybody?
Hi, Mr. Bobby Kang. Nice to be
Hi,
able to
Bobby.
share the screen
Good
with
to see
you
you.
once again.
Good to see you. Always a pleasure, Chang. Always a pleasure, man. Every time I see you, it's embarrassing for me because I'm like, man, this guy's level of intelligence shows how little I know. So, but I do know I got to watch this game today.
You're so kind. You're far too kind.
What's that?
You are far too kind and generous with your appraisal of me. I'm just trying to make my way in this YouTube community, whether it's on United Spurs of America, Spursvation TV, or even Talk and Ball. If anything, you are the legend here with Ash, Jacob, and Senor Garcia.
Nah, don't do that, buddy. We're all at the same level, man. Everybody's just here to offer their opinion, and people like it, they don't like it. We just try to say how we feel and hopefully make each other feel a little bit better, especially after a day like today. You know, we
Who's feeling good? You know who's feeling good, Bobby? These fucking Arsenal fans. All right, I have more Arsenal fans texting my phone today than they do when they win 2-8, and I don't know what that's all about.
Who did they go out to?
The first round that they played in, it was versus Liverpool.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you were gone when?
I mean,
I'm surprised you're
technically,
even watching this competition.
technically
But
last
thank
year
you
when
for
they had their
supporting us and
successful
watching the
year,
game.
when they had their most successful year in recent history, they won just as many trophies as us. So isn't that quite nice? And I always love Joe Leone. He's always here. Normally puts like the hours, minutes, and seconds from our last trophy, which I find
He's like my
I
cousin.
quite adore. I quite adore it, honestly, because if who else could keep up with it? If I don't even have to fucking go to Google. I got Joe Leone here. You know what,
That's a
Joe
lot of work,
Leone?
man.
He's hitting a like. I know that because he loves the fact he wants me to celebrate Destiny Udogie signing. And yes, I do celebrate that. He was immaculate. I thought he was one of the best. Him and Van de Veen were our best two players out there today. So I am happy to have him on. But look, at the end of the day, when you walk away at the end of this season with just as much as we got, talk to me nicely every single time, Joe Leone. But look, Bobby, 1-0, 80-something minute. Nathan Ake decides that he's like, oh, no, Kulusevski, I remember you dunked on me for the equalizer last time that we met at my own ground. He remembered that, and I think he remembered me talking shit, too, because who else but Nathan fucking Ake to go on and score the eventual game winner. But, Bobby, what did you make of that performance, full 90? What was your emotions at the full 90?
You know what? Honestly, as crazy as this is going to sound, I wasn't even too mad about it. I was upset more that, okay, we're out of this competition now. We've got the league and league only to focus on in a rebuild year that's almost perfect. Considering we're missing players, we've had this horrible luck with injuries. Our medical staff doesn't seem to have the ability to put people back on the field. Their estimations in terms of when people are out has been ridiculous. Like, we got lucky with a few. Van de Ven came back early there for us. Romero came back early for us. So that was a bonus. But I wonder if that was also a push out of necessity. But that being said, I'm going to try to look at the positives of it. And we gave them a game. You know, they executed their game plan a little bit better than us. At the end of the day, if you look at, if you want to do the stats guy, and we had 2 shots or something like that to their 15 or 18, whatever it is. They got Chris. And but how many of them were really quality ones that made us go, oh my God, thank God Vicario got that? One, I think, that I can recall. Right, the second one was shot right at him, kind of thing. But also lucky in the 4th minute to have that VAR goal disallowed by inches. That was a bit of luck on our side as well. So I think when you look at the way the game was won, a calamity goal basically with players bouncing around in the box, the ball is loose and it's out somewhere. And the only big mistake I think we made is not putting somebody in between Diaz and Vicario, because he was doing that shit all game. He was doing it all game. Why are we still right at the last minute of the game, when we know they're going to push all their big men forward, not protecting our goalie and not giving him a chance to be able to play the ball and get out, at least get to it some form? But you see the way Van de Ven is, he gets turned around the wrong way because he's looking at the ball, not at Ake. Had he maybe turned and played Ake instead of the ball, maybe then it's a penalty. Maybe the ball. Maybe it doesn't really matter. It went in. At the end of the day,
Well, here's the thing.
we didn't get played off the pitch.
I do want to say this. I agree. In the first half we were getting looked like they were about to play us off the pitch if they were clinical. But look, there's two more guests that I want to bring on. But before I do that, I do want to preface all this. And this is a great. This is the next thing I do want to discuss, which is the foul, no foul call on Vicario there for the game winner. For me, I said this on the Football Terrace when I joined that show that foul or no foul, that had been happening on every single corner the entire match. So if it wasn't a foul the first fucking 9 times or how many ever corners they had, it wasn't a foul the final one, just because that's the one where they actually got it to go. To me, that doesn't change the fact that if the ref's not calling that, Vicario has to be stronger in that moment. He has to take it upon himself to say, this fucking guy has been pushing me every single time and you got to push back. Like, if the ref is allowing it to happen, you have to then match that same fucking. I played goalkeeper, and if the ref allowed that kind of on set pieces, guess what? I'm fucking giving you some. I'm giving you a little salt and sugar, or I'm saying, hey, someone come get this fucking guy, wedge him off me. You know what I'm saying? Like that is on the goalkeeper in that moment. So that is my opinion on that. I do want to go round robin and get everyone's opinion on if it was a foul where they kind of view it. But let me bring them on. I have Ben Kaufman. What a lovely surprise to see you back on the channel. And then we also have hello Ben. How are you?
Hello.
You okay?
Yeah, that sucked, didn't it?
Yeah, that fucking sucked. But what doesn't suck is we have another guest to bring to the party, the members hangout. And what a member indeed. We've got Colin from Talking Ball as well. Look at this. Look at this.
Hey, what is up? It is Talking Ball City in here right now, man.
I know it's a Talking Ball takeover actually.
It definitely looks like a Talking Ball takeover.
It's all four
What's
of
up,
them.
everybody?
Who's missing?
It's good to see all you lovely people.
The one that sent you messages on WhatsApp a half hour ago. This one's saying good night to everyone. And here she is.
Question. Actually, I'm going to save this, Patty. That's a great question that you put in the chat. I started, and I'm going to ask it in a second, but I do want to go round robin real quick on the Vicario thing. Okay, while you go get that, let me go ahead and I'll throw it to Jose first because I ain't heard Jose in a minute. So, Jose, Vicario, is that a foul? Was it a foul? How do you feel about it? Again, you heard what I said. You got to be stronger in that moment as a goalkeeper. Go and get tough in the box. That's on you. Where are you at with it?
The goal, in my eyes, stands. It wasn't a foul. However, he had been fouled by Ruben Diaz prior in other corners. They had 14 corners, and 13 of those corners he had been fouled quite clearly. It was being pushed about by Ruben Diaz. But on the one where the goal counted, I don't believe it was a foul. And yes, I agree with you, Jacob. Chan plays as a goalkeeper anyway, so Chan might be in a better position to say it than me. But I agree with you. He should have been stronger. If the player's leaning on you, if he's bouncing into you, you just get your arms and you do the same thing back and throw him out of the way before the ball is kicked in for the corner. If you do it when the ball's in the air, it's been crossed in, and you push a player, or the goalkeeper pushes the player, it'll give away a penalty. So at the end of the day, he could have done some pushing back. He should have been stronger. But I don't think it was a foul for the goal.
All right, there you go. I agree with you. Chang, goalkeeper, hey, union members stand up. Foul, yes or no, and then we'll throw it to Ash. We'll just go around the panel here.
It wasn't a foul simply because if you look at how Vicario was charging out, let's just put it this way, he could have got more purchase. He could have gotten more strength behind the clearance, but it fell very tamely to Nathan Ake. It wasn't a foul to even begin with, and I don't know what he was complaining about. He should have imposed himself a lot more in his own penalty box. And at that late stage of the game, I'm also questioning, it's not just Vicario's own slight mistake, it's our defenders or our players. Where's the protection for Vicario if you've had City players surrounding him almost like swarming him, leading up to the crosses into the box from set pieces. And for that one fatal moment, that one mistake by him, and no one was quicker to the ball than Nathan Ake. Balls on the back of the net, and now here we are, ruining another missed opportunity for silverware in what was heavily touted as our best possible chance at silverware. But hey, it is what it is. We have to move on.
Well, it was our last realistic chance at silverware. So I agree with you in that sense. But look, we'll keep moving along. Ash, talk to me. Is that a foul? The chat looks split, surprisingly more split than I thought we would be. To me, it's very obvious. Bro, put a little football move, a little basketball under the rim type move. But what do you think, Ash?
I don't think it's a foul, but I think the chat is split because of VAR. Because there was that Liverpool game, I forgot against whom, where that foul was given. So like there have been cases where a similar sort of thing has been given. So it's the inconsistency of VAR that creates these sort of discussions. But personally, I don't think it's a foul. And honestly, I don't care either way, because the truth is that if we had spent 30 more minutes of extra time on that pitch, we still wouldn't have scored a goal. So, honestly speaking, in some ways, it was a little bit like putting us out of our misery. I mean, I do have to say, I would have liked the replay, but and I would have taken a chance on a replay if we had stuck it out for 90 minutes. But honestly speaking, the better team won today. So, and I don't want to dig out the defense. I don't want to dig out Vicario for not being strong enough or for conceding that corner in the first place. Because when you put so much pressure on the defense, eventually something's got to give. And they held out for as long as they possibly could. I think that if we had taken the pressure away from them, if our midfield had taken the pressure away from them, if we had passed forward, our hold-up play, there was Richarlison. I'm one of the people who's now been praising Richarlison. And I do have to say there was this one point which he was holding up the ball and he was very easily taken off of it. So we created a lot of problems for our defense. So I would not want to dig anyone in our defense out. Not today.
Fair enough. Big up to RX Beats sending the first super chat of the night in. Big up RX, appreciate that. Says, told everyone Johnson was shit from day one. No sympathy from me. Today showed another terrible display. Get him out. Bring in a new right winger before the window ends. Bobby, you were next in line, so I'll throw this to you first. Do we need a new right winger before this window ends? And if so, is that a failure on our scouting department and on Postecoglou for saying that, hey, that's my number one target when he's not working? Where you kind of stand with Johnson?
The kid's 21. He's been here 4 months. Calm down. We're in a rebuild. We're I think people are forgetting what happened at the beginning of the season. We're completely in shambles. There's a dark cloud over the club. We as fans utterly hate our club, our manager, if we had a manager at that point for some. We're arguing with each other consistently. There was a horrendous vibe through the entire club. The way the team was playing, the morale of everything was just disgusting. Just to be refreshed out of that, for me, is something to be positive and look forward towards. This, we are clearly far, far away from what we want as Spurs fans and what we feel we deserve. And that's why I can still understand why we have a lot of fans that are leave you out, screw this. I don't care if they've got one transfer window white finally after all these years. They should have started doing this properly years ago. We'd have trophies, we'd be winning, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. We're talking about the past. No point crying over spilt milk. We're here. We're going towards the future. If this man says this is the guy I want, he's done this in the past. And when you look at the players that he's done it with, we have one guy I'm just going to point out, CCV, Cameron Carter-Vickers. We wrote him off. How many loans did we send him out for? 7? 8?
Hurricane style, yeah.
We finally ends up a Celtic because Ange wants him there, and he does well there in the system that he wants him to flourish in after a little bit of time. And then we're thinking about buying the kid back. that's how good he made him look for a little while. That's we don't know what this guy's capable of yet. He's just a kid. I know we're a little bit more under pressure to analyze and want results from our players, only because we've seen and so many come in and not achieve anything. And I think on the unfair side is we see Udogie come in, we see Van de Ven, the God center back himself, come in now, and we see these young guys come in and they just look immortal out there. They look fantastic. They are our future. Vicario's come in, look how fantastic he looks. So I think if you're trying to match the standard level and you say, look at the way these guys have hit the ground running versus Johnson, it's not the same. So we can't expect the same things out of every player. I still have hope for the kid. Is it time to get rid of him? No. Do we need to bring another winger in right now since we brought Werner in? I don't think it's going to really happen at all. I'd love for them to get that center back cover that Ange still wants, just to be safe. But even that, now that we're out of the FA Cup, do we really see that happening? We got players coming back soon, coming back from injuries, coming back from the AFCON and the Asia Cup. I think I don't think anything else is going to happen this window. I really don't. I think they've done enough for this window, and we still got this summer is going to be a true tell of what this club is going to do for Ange. That's
I'm looking forward to seeing this summer. Real quick, just a little housekeeping. There is over 100 people across all three platforms. So first of all, big up everyone. Happy Friday to every single one. Whether you're relishing in the tears of Tottenham tonight, that's okay. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you're hitting a like. That's free, absolutely free. But big up RX Beat for doing what is not free, going above and beyond. So big up RX Beats, appreciate that. And then send another super chat, says, don't care. We need better. It's called ambition. And that's in regards to the Brennan Johnson discussion. But I want to throw this around. Also, before I keep going, big up Donovan. Hello, Donovan. Hello. How you doing?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey,
what's up,
good to
bro?
see you. Good to see you back on the channel. Let me. I'm going to pull this super chat back up because I still want to talk. You wanted us to talk about this RXB, so I want to throw this to Ben, and then I'll go to Colin and Donovan. Brennan Johnson. Shall we have more patience, or do we need to have something called ambition when it comes to getting a competent winger in this squad?
I mean, Ash summed it up earlier. You have patience with someone that looks like they're a talent and they're looking to start performing. I said today whilst I was at the stadium, Brennan Johnson is the slowest fast person I've ever seen, because he's supposedly the second fastest player in the Premier League, and not once does he use his pace at all. I said it in the chat earlier before I jumped on. Ollie Skip took on more fullbacks in 5 minutes than Brennan Johnson took on the entire game. That's not acceptable for a winger. He should be getting the ball and going. Remember, Guardiola was a centre-back. He's not a left-back. He's a centre-back. He should be putting the ball past him and burning him for pace with the pace he has. Because, again, second fastest player in the Premier League. Timo Werner showing pace. Yes, it didn't come off. And that comes down to the midfield not passing the ball to him. He's got to use his pace. You've got to use what you got. You've got to shake what your mama gave you.
Yeah, Ben, I'm sorry. They had those channels cut off, man. There was no way to play that ball up. Werner, how many times did Werner make the runs? And he was
exactly.
And Kulu turns around and plays back. Our midfield, they just didn't play it up properly. Sorry, buddy. I refuse to accept that for this kid, man.
Brennan Johnson,
I'm just waiting for my turn. I'm just gonna.
And I was just gonna say, people forget Sonny's first season here. Sonny's first season here wasn't great. He wanted to leave. Sonny looked kind of shitty his first season, and now look at the guy.
Ben, I cut you off there. Go on, man.
When Brennan Johnson has got the ball and the only person in front of him is Guardiola, he can't complain that no one's passing the ball to him because he's got the ball at his feet. He just needs to go past someone that he's faster than. If he's not confident enough to use what he's got, again, shake what your mama gave you. Use your pace. The only attribute that Brennan Johnson has is his pace, and he's not using it.
Yeah, Ben,
Donovan, what do you think about that? Do you think
if he does that, how many games does he play?
Hold, accelerate, and just run past your man, like Bobby alluded to. Like, this is the best team the planet has ever seen play the game.
I mean, you can only play
the best manager.
Real quick, Ben. I can't hear Donovan as well.
Ollie,
just hang on, Ben. Just hang on. Let me hear Donovan real quick.
Let's look back to the Champions League final during COVID. Okay, let's look at Kylian Mbappe. Not once did he get behind that Bayern Munich line. And he's the fastest player in the last 10 years the game has seen. Alaba had him on lock because all it takes is to take 3 steps to the left, 3 steps to the right, and boom, you're out of the game.
He doesn't take on anyone though, Donovan. He doesn't take on anyone.
He got him behind 2 or 3 times. And the way that we've played, Ben, listen, the way that we have played, man. By the way, I love your hat. Like, that is awesome. I didn't even recognize it. I thought you were a Texas fan.
Best hat, yeah. I'm gonna have to put my beanie back on. I feel wimpy with my hat on. But
no,
Colin did, or go ahead, Donovan.
I understand that Brendan Johnson comes with a huge price on him, and he didn't ask to be bought for 50, 60 million pounds. But that's the going rate for a homegrown winger nowadays. Yep. It's ridiculous. It's inflation. Yep. It's nobody's problem. Was he good
English
enough
tax, Donovan. English tax.
Why do we have to buy?
Was he good enough today? Maybe not. But you have to look at the scenario. Like, he's not going to be starting if Son's there. He's not going to be starting if Solomon's there, right? He did the best he could in this scenario where, Gvardiol, World Cup appearance, 3rd best nation in the world.
Guy we wanted.
You've got to
he did.
What if we gave up on Gareth Bale that easy? What if we gave up on Harry Kane that easy? What if we gave up on Gareth Bale that easy? He was absolutely shit for the first year and a half.
RX Beat here says in Super Chat, big up RX for all the donations so far. It says, stop comparing his first season to actual stars in regards to Brendan Johnson. I know, and I want Colin to come in and rebuttal this point because he just did that, compared him to Son in his first season. Bale, I believe the numbers were something similar. So, Colin, I want to give you a chance to come in. Let me also make sure I read. I don't want this Super Chat to get lost. There was another one from RX Beat as well. Says, Kulu was also terrible. Jatalone for right winger at least, bare minimum.
Kulu. He was better when he went out on the right because what he did was what a winger does. You take on your fullback. That's your only job as a winger. Take on your fullback and cross it. That's his only job. And he didn't.
Don't play it forward and keep playing it back. Oh God,
Colin, let me get your take here on the Brendan Johnson. I want to go back to Brendan Johnson a little bit before we will get back to Kulu. I do want to talk on him as well and get everyone's thoughts there. But let's keep it on Brendan Johnson for a moment. Colin, you were comparing him to Son. RX Beats in a super chat saying stop comparing him in his first season. Is there any other reasons that you can see in Brendan Johnson's game why maybe he is worth sticking by, regardless of comparing? Because some may say, "Oh, the game has changed, et cetera, et cetera." I don't know. I said about 4 days ago that I'm willing to give Johnson another till next season until I say whether I think he's dog shit or not. He's not been good, and he wasn't good today. He was pretty awful today. But what have you seen from him? What do you have a rebuttal here for RXB?
I guess my main rebuttal is today is not a good litmus test for anything. They had us pen back the entire. They had us pen back the entire match. We couldn't hardly get out of our own half. You know what I mean? It's not a good litmus test for any of the attacking players because they all looked terrible, man. But yeah, I mean, I remember being so frustrated with Sonny whenever he first came, literally just completely frustrated. I did a segment on my show one time where I kind of compared his first season to Brendan Johnson's season that he had at Forest last year. And the numbers were very similar. I think you give this kid a chance, you give him some time, build up his confidence a bit. I think he has the tools. Clearly, you can train somebody in. There's a really smart person in your chat named Gina, I believe her name is. I was speaking with her in the chat too. She has some really intelligent comments in there. So Gina, big up to you. But yeah, I mean, Brendan Johnson has the tools. He just needs to put in the extra work, like Sonny always did, to make sure that he gets to that level. But you can't teach the tools. He's got the tools. The mental part of the game can be taught. I think that's where he needs to improve a bit. So absolutely no reason why he can't. I know that we've had other players with the tools, Clinton Ng and all those other fast, small guys. But Brendan Johnson, I don't know. It's mainly just his last season that has me at least a little bit excited for him. He did okay in the Premier League. I just think this is an adjustment period. It's a hell of a step up. It takes some time.
I just don't see it. Colin. Because when
you see nothing seriously, Ben, at all in this kid, nothing at all.
No,
really.
He doesn't do. When you've got tough times and you're struggling. What do you do?
I'm surprised because normally we agree on 99% of the shit. I've got mad faith for this kid. I really do. There's something about him I like.
When you're struggling, what do? You keep it simple.
Sorry, guys. I got to run to work. I'm so sorry. Bork's calling me again.
See you, Colin.
Hey, it was really good to chat for a second. Brennan Johnson is not shit. Brennan Johnson rules. Bye.
Well, that's a bit far. But
bye, Colin. Ash.
When you are struggling, you keep it simple. You do the basics of what your game is. Brennan Johnson is a fast winger. That is his attribute. He's fast. Get the ball, take on your fullback, put him facing his goal, and put a ball across. He doesn't do that.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. But Werner's the exact same thing on the opposite side of the pitch today.
Exactly.
Neither of them did it. Neither of them got the ball. We didn't have this. Everybody was shit. Ben, everybody was shit. We had one shot on that.
Yeah,
that says it all. Their game plan was executed perfectly to shut us down. They did it.
Werner has done more as a winger in 2 games than Johnson has done in the last 5.
Ash, I want to know where you kind of fall in on here. I see you with your hand up a few times. So I do want to make sure I give you... I know you have a little bit of a delay, so I want to at least give you a chance here. Where are you at?
So the way I see it, I don't want to dig out Johnson. I don't, because you have to give a player at least a season. But like I said earlier, I don't want to see him start. Let him prove his place in the team. Let him go for training every day, and then play 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 20 minutes, and then cement his place like all players do, all young players do. I will quickly add that, Spurs, watching them this season, it just makes me happy. It fills me with joy. I was not upset when we lost against Aston Villa. I was not upset when we lost to Chelsea. I was a little upset, but I loved the way we played those games because we played with a lot of courage. And, that is what was missing in this game, like that heart. That's what I watch Spurs games for, because all of us, all of us, the only reason we find joy in play, there's not a lot of difference in points between what Conte was doing and what Ange is doing in terms of the table. It's about the joy we feel when we watch Spurs, right? So that's what we want. And that courage I felt was the defense had it, but the midfield and the offense did not have that. And that, I think, was what made us lose the game today.
No, but that's what I'm saying, Ash. It's just they had us completely out of sync. We were unable to play our game. They knew the way we wanted to play, the way Ange wanted to set up, and the way he wanted to go ahead with this game, and we were unable to execute it. They executed their game plan better. How many times did we see Werner up the wing? I lost my mind screaming at the TV, pass the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball. Right? So equally, if the ball was on the other side of the field, if the ball equally was on the other side of the field, we see Johnson making those runs and it's not played. How can we determine how they were done with the ball if they're not getting the ball up there? That's why to call for Johnson's head right now. That's
I see both sides of the argument.
Have this conversation, but not right now, not this early.
I want to bring Jose and Chang in on this real quick. I'm going to read this super chat. Says from RXB again. Appreciate the generosity and the donations. My friend says we are the richest club in London. That has been confirmed per reports this week. I know Sean Butler of Spurs talk shows frothing at the mouth at this, but says time to spend on better. No excuses for Daniel Levy. Johnson has been shit against bad teams. At least Werner made good runs.
He made some really good runs today. He made really good runs. Yep. He made about 5 or 6 really good runs, and not a single pass came to him.
Yep, madly.
So frustrating.
Jose, I want to know where you're at with Brennan Johnson. I don't think I've had your opinion on him as well.
I think that with players returning from injury and with Ange having more players to pick from, I think Brennan Johnson could do with more coaching and more being on the sidelines, i.e. coming on as an impact sub for the next few games, and other people playing that position for now until he learns what he needs to do. He can be coached. We've seen other players improve under Ange's coaching. He can be coached, but at the moment he looks, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the magnitude of the club that he's gone to now, because he's a Premiership footballer. He's played in the Premiership for a couple of seasons with Forest, but he seems to be like a rabbit in the headlights. I mean, watching him tonight, he didn't take on players. He wasn't even coming back defending. And I know Ange doesn't want his wingers defending, but I did see Werner come back to defend. I think he can be taught. He just doesn't look the player at the moment. And I would say more coaching with him, and maybe come off the subs bench, become an impact sub, grow in confidence, and then he'll get a run in the team. Look, Ange wanted him, and if Ange wants him, that's good enough for me. Let's just give him time. He's not doing it at the moment, but give him time.
Fair enough.
In a perfect world, there, like you would have Kulusevski on the wing, and then you'd have Madison in the 10, and then you'd have Kulusevski come back and do the heavy work, because we know he can be a two-way player. Like I don't think we can all agree on the fact that like he's needs to be polished. He needs to be worked at, but he's got so much attributes and tools in his locker, like Jacob said. We can't be writing this guy off already. It's not even halfway through a season. We're just over halfway, and he's Ange's marquee signing that he wanted. Go back to what Bobby said. Yeah, you have these amazing wingers that have the pace to exploit the back line, but if you're not giving the ball to them in a position where they can pick the ball up and attack, and their first mind is attack, not some loop 10-foot, 20-foot ball that's going to come bobbling in, and by the time they can take it under control, they got like two guys marking them. It's all it comes down to is that City's system is that much better coached, and the fact that they've been together for the last 3 or 4 seasons, and just had maybe 3 or 4 months with these guys. And to echo what your friend Colin there said, this isn't a litmus test game. We all knew it was going to be balls.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
You can say that it's not a litmus test game, but can you tell me one game that Johnson's played this year that he's that looks a really decent player?
That Chelsea, the beginning of the Chelsea game, man, he had that whole left side on. You just asked me to name a game.
And you asked for a game.
One game out of 19.
You just asked me to name a game, and I did. Ask me another one. I'll give you another example.
Was it Liverpool? But he came on, he scored right away, and he was offside? Who's that?
Yeah. His debut in a lily white shirt, he came on, got a goal, and he was offside. That was
Sheffield, wasn't it? That was Sheffield. I'm pretty sure that was Sheffield.
Was Sheffield? Yeah, okay.
In the perfect world, you don't buy Johnson. With the richest
for the biggest flop we've had, he's already on 4 assists and a goal in the Premier League. I mean, come on.
But Ben, for that argument, then if we're going to do the whole richest club thing, then we go back to this board is not right for us. Even though they've got Ange, even though they've backed him to a certain extent, if we're sitting here saying we're happy with Ange not wanting £100 million players, and we're okay with him spending 30 or 40 million pound on project players, then we've got to have hope that the project players that he picks are the right project. That's all we can do. And there's no way in hell that we can sit here and judge that project accomplished or not in 4 or 5 months. I think that's absurd. I think that's absolutely insane. I agree there should be results and a change. But considering everything's still consistently changing, the midfielders are changing right now, the injuries, again, people missing and everything. When everybody's back and we're playing at full tilt and this kid is still doing shit, I'll be the first one to say, Ben, you're right. I'll shut my mouth. I'll stop being a deluded, optimistic nutbag that I am.
54 million, but I know he doesn't choose his price tag, and that's not down to him. That's not down to him. But for that money, with the money we're going to have to spend on another winger because he's not good enough, we could buy bloody Eze, and that's a winger. That's a winger. Low centre of gravity, pace. Tracks back. That's one of the things I hate about Brennan Johnson as well. He doesn't track back at all. And he's protecting Pedro Porro, who's not good defensively. So we're actually doubling him. He doesn't track back at all, which is why I like Kulusevski out on that right-hand side, because he actually tracks back and protects his fullback. which means Porro is even more exposed against Doku and against Guardiola because he doesn't track back at all. No, not Doku, and who was playing left back from no, it was Guardiola. Doku and it was
Who
Guardiola.
saved us the equalizer at the Etihad last time we played City? Who beat their man, took on their man, and crossed the ball in for Kulusevski to head it in to save us the point at the Etihad? It was Brendan Johnson. He took his.
Nice timing.
For that money,
I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was accentuating your point there, Donovan. Apologies.
All good. I'm just saying that he's a kid. One day he's the prospect of the world, and the next day he's going to be a kid. He's an idiot.
Donovan, I want to touch on that point as well because, like I said a few days ago on this channel, that he has done enough at this point to warrant another 6 months of probation. Right? To me, right? I think when he's had a preseason with Ange Postecoglou, the beginning of if he's not feet on the ground working by match day 1 of next year, then he's got to go. He's got to go because at that point he's had almost 12 months. Let's remember he came in right before the window closed. He played 3 matches, I think, with Nottingham Forest, playing a completely different style. So I do sympathize in the fact not of the step up from Nottingham Forest to Tottenham. That's irrelevant. You have to be a professional no matter what your fucking age is, in my opinion. But to his defense,
you're playing the same.
But to his defense, regardless, it's a different system, and he's being required to do different things. So playing the same teams is irrespective of the point. When he was a right striker for Nottingham Forest, and for Wales, he plays a central striker, sometimes a right striker as well. So what he's being asked to do, what he's been asked to do in the Premier League thus far. So I sympathize. I don't excuse. So him not being good enough today is not an excuse. But in regards to his overall tenure at Tottenham, in my opinion, he got to at least have, and I liked Ash's point that she made maybe 30 minutes ago, was when we talk about patience with Brendan Johnson, it's not let's keep starting him and hoping eventually that a fucking fire ignites. It's let's have patience. For me, this is how I interpret it. Like, let's have patience in the sense of his career here. Let's at least let him have 1 preseason under Postecoglou before I say he's done. That's my opinion. Everyone's allowed to write off a player whenever they so feel. I've been wrong about talent ID. I've been correct about talent ID. But regardless, with Brendan Johnson, I think he's been asked to carry a lot of our offensive weight, especially now that Heung-min Son is not there as well to share that burden. But it is worrying in a sense. I'm worried about our whole front, not just Brendan Johnson, because every match that he's been awful, he's not the only one in the attack that is awful. He's not the only one that's letting me down and disappointing me. Let's not forget versus Manchester United. I know he just got here, but Timo Werner was very much disappointing me as well. We were lacking things. We are lacking that connection, that Madison connecting the fucking back to the front when we do have the ball. And today was one of those examples where we're not going to have our way and we have to do what we can. And in the second half, we looked better, but we didn't challenge the goalkeeper, and that comes down to efficiency in the final third, in my opinion. But go ahead, Bobby.
No. When you finish, I'll go. Go on. No,
I was just going to go to this super chat here from RX Beats. Appreciate all the support on the channel.
Right back, yeah, and Poro
says we need to put Emerson or Dragusin.
Push into that, yeah. Love to see it. I would have loved to have seen that today. Push Poro up because he was great up there.
A little disappointed you didn't get to see any Dragusin.
No, I want to see him at right back, man. Just have him come in. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ben, and anybody else that is really upset with the whole Johnson thing. I think the frustration comes down to simply for 50 million, we could have bought a player that was proven, not one that we have to hope is going to be good. I think that's where fans were sitting here frustrated, that we're fed up of having hope for players. We want players that know how to play now. We want players that are going to come in and make a difference now. We want players that are going to impact the starting 11.
Jacob's splitting me and Bobby apart because I've got a question. When does a player? I
love you, man.
When does a player? Because one of the things you've all been saying is, let's not hurt this kid. The kid. When does a kid stop being a kid and not being a man?
I call Harry Kane a kid, to be fair. Still, I call you a kid.
Last year, we signed Dejan Kulusevski for £30 million from Juventus. He came to the Premier League and he lit it up a storm. younger than him.
Yeah, but he was in the Champions League before. Brandon Johnson came from the Championship. There's levels to it. Right? I'm not defending him. I'm just saying there's levels to it.
He came from the Premier League.
He is a proven
Premier
international.
League is a better league than
Sweden
Serie A.
is bigger than Wales. But if I could touch on what you said there, Jacob, yeah, of course, the front line's not clicking, but it's all about context, who you play. Like there are some games where you're going to need fast wingers, and there's some games you're going to need the big, bulky Kulusevski on the wing holding the ball up. And Ange hasn't had that luxury to be able to have all the aces up the sleeve and pick the right deck because he's been forced on with injuries. He's been forced on with the AFCON. And I'm not blaming Ange here. I'm not blaming the circumstance or making an excuse. I'm just pointing out the fact that everybody else can have the excuse of, hey, we have a million injuries or we have this or that. But it seems like this resilience aspect of our club is almost a double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, we're going to get through all this. We're going to go through heads or tails. But when it comes to it, and when it finally blows up in your face, you're not allowed to point out the obvious.
Big up Patty Hartnett for the super chat. Says Bobby is a dope up the Spurs. Big up Patty Hartnett.
Bobby is
my Limerick. I got the Limerick Spurs right here, and that's because of him.
Benji and Bobby sitting in a tree.
Yeah, no kidding. No. It's me and Patty, obviously. See, that's that.
Yeah,
Limerick Spurs. I still got nothing but love for other people.
You're just jealous, Ash, that Bobby didn't take you to Niagara Falls. You're jealous.
It's okay, Ash. It's okay. We're
it's okay to be jealous.
Big up, Patty. Appreciate the super chat, my friend.
That's what he spends €2 on. Fantastic. You could have just messaged me that for free.
Big up, Patty. No, I think he wanted me to read it out. That's why I did it.
We spent too much time talking about the forward line. We need to talk about the actual problem of the team today, and it's a terrible midfield. And I want to
There's no link. There's no sync. Nothing.
For a solid half an hour, I want every single person to big up the man, the myth, the legend, the lawnmower that is Pape Matar. Pape Matar. When he is not in that team, we're not a third as good as the team. Pape Matar is the truth. He is awesome. And remember, he cost how much did Pape Sarr cost?
17, 18, 19 million.
15 million, maybe? 15? Maybe? Not a lot of money. Pape Matar is awesome. And that guy, since we have not had him in the team, we look ordinary. Beyond ordinary. Terrible even. You replace him with players like, I think Jose was alluding to that he never wants to see Højbjerg in a Spurs shirt again. He actually didn't have one of his more offensive games today. Defensively, he was okay, but the moment he gets the ball, he is Stuart Nethercott. He is dreadful. Like that was that moment when he's trying to clear the ball and he did basically a dummy. Pape Matar, every single person in the chat.
Yeah, we miss Pape Matar for sure.
We miss Pape, the Pappy, as Jacob should call him. He calls everyone else Pappy.
I call him I Papi Chulo Matisar. That's what I call him. Right. RX Beats with his final super chat of the evening. Thank you so much. This episode has been brought to you by RX Beats. RX Beats in the game. Says there are U.S. soldiers 17 years old who are men earning P's. Stop acting like he's some innocent 5-year-old. Last super chat. Proven signings needed. Last super chat from him. So I am gonna honor what he. This last point is something I think that is a good talking point as well. And I'll go ahead and I'll throw it and we'll go around real quick. Ash, do we need a proven signing? What proven signings do we need? And obviously, RX Beats is of the mindset an upgrade on Brennan Johnson is one of those stellar signings that we need. What position for you do we need to bring in? Not a superstar, but I would say a household name, something that says, oh, wow, look at you now. I think that's what a lot of fans have been asking for. We are now the richest club in London. So should we be spending, and what position should we spend the big bucks on, in your opinion, Ash?
So I don't necessarily think we need to spend the big bucks. Like, I don't think we need. So this is my problem, right? People think of marquee signings as signings that cost a lot of money. James Madison is a marquee signing. He's played lots of years in the Premier League. He's got great fig numbers, but he didn't come to us that expensive. So you can make smart signings that are proven players that aren't necessarily like a Van Dyke or an Allison that cost 80, 90 million or 100 million or whatever it is. So that's not what it is. But I would say that I think we could do with like a world class goal scorer. I'm not saying it has to be a striker, but just somebody who can put, like, when we're having a terrible day, just put the ball at the back of the net somehow. We need somebody who's like a proven goal scorer. I think that would be good for us. And we need to get rid of Højbjerg and Skip. I'm sorry, that just Skip I think was a little better than
Keep
Højbjerg.
keep going. There's a longer list. You can keep adding names.
No. Okay, I'll just say we have to get rid of Højbjerg and Skip and get a striker or like a forward that scores goals.
Fair enough. Chang,
I'm gonna stand up for Ollie Skip. I don't think Ollie Skip is that offensive recently. In the game,
that's what I'm saying. That benefit of doubt too.
Actually offers something for this team. He's not the greatest. He is borderline a championship player, but he's tidy on the ball and he works his socks off and he gets about. Højbjerg does nothing. Nothing. Can't pass the ball 5 yards.
Chang, what position for you? Do we need to bring in ASAP? What is it? Do we need a midfield Kylian Mbappe type signing, or do you agree with Ash that we don't need to go spend the big bucks on somebody? We just need upgrades in certain positions. Where you fall, Chang?
If we could get a midfielder in who is the equivalent of a 2-in-1 signing, a midfielder who can deputize for both Madison and Højbjerg at the same time, if it comes to that, or at the very least, maybe another forward, a long-term forward, a marquee signing, somewhere along the lines of a Harry Kane replacement, to put it this way. Diogo Jota, what's the other Mexicans? That Mexican guy? I can't remember.
Santiago Jimenez.
That's the Jimenez, yep. It's either a forward or midfielder, the way I see it, because the defensive backline is pretty stacked right now. We really have Guchin, who's not even getting minutes at the moment. So if we do ship out Højbjerg and Lo Celso, which I think his time has come, as much as he tries to get into the team, as much as he wants to put in a shift, I think he's just not fit enough to last the distance if we are challenging on all fronts come next season. So a long-term replacement for both Lo Celso and Højbjerg, if we could roll both these players into one singular midfielder, that would be very welcome. But yeah, again, of all games today, the forward department, without Son, without Kane, without even the likes of let's say now Benzema or even what's the guy's name from Munich who's at Barcelona now? Lewandowski. Yes, that's the guy, Lewandowski. If you could get like a Lewandowski in, I would absolutely love it, because that's what we are lacking right now. Goals up front.
So the problem is wages, Chang. People like Lewandowski want 400 grand a week. People like Vlahovic want 400 grand a week. You're not going to get these players. You're going to need to look at a Jared Bowen when he's at Bournemouth, when we should be signing a Jared Bowen when he's at Bournemouth instead of letting him go to West Ham. Players like Alex Scott's going to be a talent in the future. We should have bought in Alex Scott. Was cheap. Wanted to come to Tottenham. Tottenham boy, born and bred.
I think Mitoma.
Well, I feel like we could do we should have done this, we should have done that all day. And before we keep going down that road, let me bring on a debutant of sorts. We've got Callum in the house. What's up, Callum? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you and welcome.
Hey, evening. Nice to see you all. Yeah, I've been in the chat for a long time. First time seeing you face
Callum
to face.
Roche?
That's me.
Hey,
right.
look at that. Now I have a face to a
Cal?
name. How beautiful. What's going on, man? What's on your mind? Obviously the L's been tough to talk about, but you've been here in the chat, so and you joined, so I imagine there's something a point. Where are you at, my friend?
I mean, I think like everyone else, I'm just a bit angry and frustrated with the result. You know, irritated by Johnson not doing much. Looks like Højbjerg is just checked out. Bentancur hasn't quite reached the level yet. So, like, I think in the game, the main issue was just getting the ball forwards from midfield to the forwards. I think Werner made some good runs. You know, Richie ran around, did his thing. He wasn't terrible. It was just the lack of depth on the bench, wasn't it? I mean, I'd have liked to have seen Johnson come off at half time and bring Maddison straight in. We might have had a bit more of a hope, but yeah, overall, just a bit frustrated.
I understand that. Sorry, I pulled up a comment from Patty.
Okay.
Sorry, giving some love there.
That wasn't you, Callum. I was saying Patty.
No, let me ask you, Callum. We've talked about a few things, but I want to know where you're at with Brennan Johnson. I think I've gotten the vibe from most of the panel that, you know, I think Ben may be the only one who's like, he's done, we're done. I was just giving a quick glance on Twitter. He's not alone in that stance. There's a large amount of people who believe that there is just not enough there in Brennan Johnson that we've seen. Where are you at? Is he done as a footballer? Are you going to give him some more time? And
I wouldn't say he's done, but I'm you know, veering to what Ben's been saying. You know, he's shown up once or twice. Yeah, there's been those couple of assists, but overall, like, his game is just not good enough. Like, he can't beat his man. He's a winger, and he can't beat his man. That's a problem. The only thing he's got going for it, everyone's talking about, oh, he's got the tools, but like the only tool I can see that he's got is he's fast, and he's only fast when he's not got the ball. When he's got the ball, he can't dribble with it fast, so he can't beat someone and go past them. So, like, what are these tools people are talking about that they see for £50 million? I'm worried, I've got to say.
Yeah, it is a little bit worrying. I've got a question that Patty Hartnett put in the chat almost an hour ago. So real quick, if you're still rocking out with us, we're almost on an hour and a half. Do the free thing. Support this channel by hitting a like and a subscribe. Share this video with your mother, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, all those beautiful folks that you love. They want to be a part of United Spurs of America. But I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to start with Jose because I have not heard from Jose in a little bit.
Should I leave? Oh, it's actually a football question. Oh, okay. No, he's seriously Patty. I'm assuming he's giving me more shit.
It's a genuine question. It says, question for the panel. Are you happier as a Spurs fan than you were for the past 4 years? And do you see progress? And Jose, I'll start with you.
Yes, 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 and yes. For the last 4 years, I've watched matches behind my sofa, covering my eyes, shaking with sweat and swearing profusely with the dross that we were playing, and I was absolutely shitting myself every time we had a match. And just coming, and since the summer, my outlook on football has completely changed and has gone akin to what made me first start supporting Tottenham, where we did things playing football the right way and we brought excitement. And that, and it's still in progress. It's still a project. We're still in progress doing this. But yeah, we've definitely improved, and I have seen the progress in this short space of time.
Well, fair. I agree. Bobby, what about you? Do you see progress? Are you happier now than you've been in the last 4 years with what we could be doing?
Let me answer this way, Jacob. I've been a fan since '92, since I was 16 years old. And I can tell you the most miserable I've been was the last 4 or 5 years after Poch. That era that we went through, that dark cloud. That's why, honestly, that's why I'm still a deluded happy clapper right now, Jacob, because I'm just absolutely blown away with the transition that we've made in 6 months, in terms not just on the pitch, but the morale in the entire club, the morale in the fan base, the uplift that we will have now. The like Jose already said, the fact that we want to watch a game. Like Ash said, I just want to see entertaining, good football that's being brought to us. If we get results on top of that, bonus right now, considering where we are. We lost our captain. We lost our best player. We lost our managers. We were, just completely falling apart. We've got a lot of stale wood. We've cleared out a lot of big chunks of that stale wood. Sent out players on loan, sold them flat out. We're the right steps have been made. I think, honestly, because we're so excited with the way the first 10 games went that we thought we really, really had something going here, and not maybe going to see that is a reality check, when in reality we should be happy with anything above 8th. And I'm pumped right now, man. I'm super happy. Nobody's going to knock me. You could call me deluded all you want. I don't care. I'm in first class. I'm up there. I'm sitting there with my buddy Jim from Just a Girl. My man Kuva shoving coal in that train. The league is on, baby. All our chips are all our eggs thrown into that basket. Come on, City. We're coming for you now. You can have the FA Cup.
There we go. Talk to me nicely. I love that, Bobby.
Talk to me nicely.
Callum, same question for you. Do you see progress? Are you happy with where we're at? Do you see the hope?
Look, obviously, like compared to what's the last 4 years, I suppose we're looking at the end of the Pochettino era, everything falling apart, Mourinho, all that nonsense. So, of course, like from the beginning of the season, it's night and day. So, yeah, I'm happy. I've been supporting Spurs since I was 7 years old, like 1986. I remember that cup final. I remember watching Chris Waddle at White Hart Lane, Hoddle. So I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. We're moving definitely in the right direction. I mean, if you just compare last season, we might have got some results against City where they couldn't score at our ground, but we had Eric Dyer in defence. We had look at us now. We've got Romero, Van de Ven. We've got Dragusin as backup. Got Madison coming in. So like things are moving. It's just just shame we couldn't match up today.
The wheels of revolution don't always spin as fast as maybe we want or intend, but lest we delve in the fact that we're not moving fast enough, I would rather appreciate the fact the wheels are fucking moving, and they are moving. That is something that we can't take stock in.
You're getting all poetic and shit, man. You go on, son. Carry on.
To be or not to be, Donovan? That is the question.
He's been watching Churchill. Winston Churchill. He's been.
I know I've missed a couple of shows because YouTube's not giving me notifications. But Jacob, woohoo!
Huh? Yeah, talk to me nicely. After a loss, I'm so reflective. You know what I mean? I'm very introspective after a loss, especially after one where we look so toothless. But Donovan, are you feeling hope and progress? Are you seeing the wheels of a revolution beginning to turn? Or where are we just firing duds? I saw Scott M. Big up Scott M. in the house. Probably the least
Captain Happy.
Yeah, I was going to say the least Spurs happy Canadian, I would say. He's the most upset Canadian that I know.
Positivity, man. He makes me sick sometimes. He's so deluded.
No,
happy clapping nonsense gets to me all the time, bro, and I'm a happy clapper.
It's good. It's good. Like if we're going the right way, we've seen the back of Dyer. I saw the back of, Lloris after that 7-1. After that 7-1. Well, we're not that lucky yet, Bobby. We're giving it a little bit. Then we'll send McBurger out to Tunisia or something, wherever he needs to go. On days like today, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I've seen some beautiful football. I got a manager that I can actually back now. And what is it? 8 points off the top, and we still have to play everyone above us. So I mean, it's in our hands. This is a long time ago, but we go back to SAR, right? Having SAR on our team and Bissouma. We get some more action, more options in competition. We still got another week left of the transfer window, plus next summer. So yeah, there's progression. The fact that we're the richest team in England, or the richest team in London.
London, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not constricted by any sort of financial fair play. And I know that the fans are split between Levy in and Levy out. I'm not going to say any kind of purple or gold or anything, but if you believe what that guy had to say in that preseason kind of huddle he did, and he's like, hey, I'm changing my ways and I'm going to invest in the team. You know?
23 years.
I'm right up there too. So it's like you got to look at it. You got to look at it glass half full, because otherwise you're just gonna lose yourself in the Spurs madness. You know.
Fair enough.
This is where I come in with the 23 years. What do Tottenham do when we're not in the Champions League? We spend a ton of money to get us back into the Champions League. And the moment we get top 4, we take our foot off the gas and don't buy a single player for 2 years. This is what happened to Pochettino. And then, what happened? Oh, we're not in the Champions League again. We're going to spend loads of money again because we're not in the Champions League. Get back into the Champions League. And then not spend any money and buy terrible players. And then we fall out of the Champions League. It's 23 years of repeating the cycle. It's 23 years and nobody can argue with me because it's happened. You can't argue with me because that is what Tottenham do. We spend loads of money. We back a manager for a season to get them back in the Champions League, and we take our foot off the gas.
It's different this time though, because we have a go-kart track.
It happens every single time. So that is, as the ultimate pessimist, I apologise. I am the ultimate pessimist, but that's because I'm a match-going fan that's been going for my entire life. This is the only ownership I've ever seen, apart from maybe the last couple of years of Sugar when I was 4. But I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday, let alone when I was 4. But this has happened so many times. So many times. We're going to back a manager to the tooth until they get top 4. Once they get top 4, foot off the gas, and we start buying cheese instead of.
So, are you saying that we've taken our foot off the gas in regards to what we're doing right now, or are you just talking about in the past?
I'm looking. You use the past to predict the future, because Donovan put it rightly that the owner of the football club said.
So you don't believe a criminal can be rehabilitated?
I don't believe 23 years of past behaviour can be changed in a single year. It takes years and years and years of rehabilitation, one small step at a time to fixing what you've done.
Have we not taken those small steps yet, Ben?
No.
Ben,
in what way have we not?
Do you think it would be better for us to finish in Europa League so we carry on spending in the summer?
It would be better for us, because then you'd say, okay, that's progress. We didn't get Europe. Now we're in Europe. I'm going to build a slightly bit more. Then the next year, we build a tiny bit more. You have small increments of improvement. But with Tottenham, we seem to approve a lot and think, you know what? I'm happy with what I've got. And then we don't spend anything and we do what we usually do. So for Levy to come out and say, oh, I've completely changed. No one at 62. How old is Levy? 63? Something like that?
67, I think.
No, it's not 67. He's not 67.
Well, I don't know. You know more about the man than I do, because I don't think about him too often. He put a lot of people in between him and the football decisions that we did not have. So I see changes. I see a guy who has done bad previously, who is now this is my hope and what I've seen mixed together now. Again, you are right, Ben. No one can erase what's happened in 23 years, but we can only focus on changing where we go from here. And I've felt since we hired Ange Postecoglou that we have begun to take a step in the right direction. Were we going to get off and start running? No, we had a bunch of bullshit hanging around the club, but we've slowly gotten rid of some of that. We got rid of Harry Winks, Eric Dyer, Hugo Lloris in one season, Lucas Moura. These are names we've gotten rid of in one that we've been asking to be gone in 5 years, but we didn't spend. You were right. We haven't. And I agree with the sentiment that, like, why would I think things are going to change when this behavior has been displayed for X amount of years? I would challenge that by saying, we didn't have the stadium fully paid off and built and see profits in those times either. I'm not a fucking accountant. I'm a football fan. But from a money standpoint, I think now is the time in which we can say there's zero excuse from a club standpoint to not financially back this manager. Whereas previously, we don't know the fucking Excel sheets to make the stadium even happen, to get the land rights, the building rights, etc. And we can all laugh and say, oh, the go-karts and the skywalk, etc. But all that shit, what that's doing is giving us more money in the end, which my hope is that now we are seeing the profits of said stadium, we will begin to invest said profits into the first team, which is what was originally the plan, in my understanding, when we fucking started constructing it.
You brought up the stadium, Jacob, and building the stadium. The first thing that man said when he started to build the stadium, the building of the stadium will not affect spending on the pitch. And then we went 2 transfer windows without buying a single player. So if he
real quick, I wanna read out the super chat real quick from Gina. Big up Gina, thank you for the $20 donation. Says Jacob, warm thanks for having Chang, my man, my Malaysian Asian Spurs brother on the show. Manners and intelligence. Big up Chang, getting a super chat just for having you around, Chang. You are the luck bringer. Ash, I know you wanted to come in there, I think to the point of what Ben and I were talking about. I want to give you a chance to go ahead and say whatever it was you're trying to say.
You know what? With the Levy thing, I know I understand both sides of the argument, but I will say about Levy that while I don't trust him, not one bit, what we can do and what Ange, I feel, can do, and he is doing, is hold his feet to the fire all the time. Like, ask for more, demand more. That's what the fans have been doing the last 4 years. Like, all of the frustration that the fans have been showing, that's why he's gotten his butt into gear, you know. And I believe that that's because everyone's putting pressure on him to perform. And now that we have everything in place, we have the stadium in place, we have the manager, heck, we have the income from like go-karting and NFL and
which I support, actually. I support that. I actually support it. I want that stadium to be used 365 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We have that manager.
Having a good football side.
I can't hear when both of y'all, just Ben, if you don't mind waiting for Ash to finish what she was saying. I can't hear either one of you when y'all are both
now
talking.
That we have all these ingredients, there are no excuses. So like with Levy, he doesn't have the excuse that there's anything else happening to fail. So he has to do what's required of him as a chairman. And I feel like he's done that by removing himself from the footballing decisions, or at least it looks to be like he's removed himself from the footballing decisions with, Mann and Paratici and Langer and everyone else coming in. So I think that we cannot trust him. We have to keep pressuring him into being good and doing his job. But at the same time, when he's doing it right, you got to give him credit for the things that he's done right. 2 things that he's done right. He's hired Ange and he's gotten a transfer team in place. Now, how does that work out for us? We will only be able to see by next season and the progress we make this season. But think about it in this context. Pep Guardiola's contract ends in 25. Man City could possibly be relegated in 25. Liverpool has lost their generational manager. So 2 of the best teams in the Premier League are now going to go through a difficult rebuild, like a difficult phase. This is our time. There are no excuses. There are no financial excuses. There are no stadium excuses. There are no transfer excuses. This summer window, next season, and then season after that.
Fair enough. Ben, what was your rebuttal? I wanted to hear you say that as well. Ash, a lot of good points.
You said about the stadium and how we don't know about the balance sheets. The first thing that Daniel Levy said when we started building the stadium is building the stadium would have no effect on the transfer business. And it did. I am totally fine with it having a massive effect on the transfer business. I have plenty of experience in building property. I come from a property family. I understand property more than I should do. Just tell me the truth. If they tell me the truth and they actually tell the truth, I'm fine with it. I say, you've not told me lies. You've not told me lies. You've not told me mistruths. You've not said we're going to win league titles or we're going to be challenging. And then instead of buying Bruno Fernandes, you buy Gedson Fernandes, or you don't spend, you try and offer 2.5 million and Josh Onoma for Jack Grealish, who then goes for £100 million the next year. Just do little steps of trust. Be totally transparent in how you run a football club. And every single Tottenham fan that sits on my side of the fence will agree with him, because they say, right, we might not get what he's doing, but at least he's told us what he's doing. He's constantly shotgunned down our throat for the last 15 years. We're going to be challenging for titles. We're going to be, the glory days are back. We're going to be playing the best football on the planet. Then the first thing he does is signs Nuno Espirito Santo, one of the most negative football managers you've ever seen. Or Jose Mourinho, another one of the most negative football managers you've ever seen. Or Antonio Conte, who puts 10 men behind the ball. Finally, we've started seeing some good football. But they keep on saying we're bringing back the Tottenham way. I don't know what the Tottenham way is. I don't know if any of you can tell me what the Tottenham way is, because we've only played good football under 2 managers since I've been alive. Possibly 3 with Martin Jol. The majority of the managers we've had have been utter dross. Jacques Santini, the manager that invented park the bus football. Sacking a manager that won us a trophy before a cup semi-final to bring in God and then sack him a year later. I just want us to have a transfer.
Ben, I sympathize with you. I just have a hard time I'm constantly going
old enough to see Keith Birkinshaw. We played good football under Keith Birkinshaw.
I wasn't alive. I wasn't alive.
No, I was. No, I said I was, Ben. I said I was. I'm lucky enough that I was, is what I'm saying.
I think that is a more broad question in the sense of like, what is the Tottenham way? I mean, that's a discussion to be had, but I just have a hard time like looking at where we're at now and being like bitching about what happened with Jose, bro. What happened with Jose is done and gone, bro. I've in the amount of 4 years in just my life, I've had so many things change, and so. To believe that a club and a ethos and a philosophy around a club can't do the same thing, bro, 4 years is a long time. And that's how far we are removed from a lot of those very, very poor decisions. But I don't think that it's really fair to amalgamate all these things and say, well, this is why under Ange Postecoglou it won't work. Because
I love the manager. I absolutely adore him.
You have to have some kind of sustained success. You need a manager to start and finish a season at the same fucking club. We haven't had that since Pochettino. I would like to have a manager we believe in, we support, and everyone gets behind, financially speaking, from a club aspect, and then we see that out for what it is. We accept these punches and growing pains. I never thought that it was gonna be easy. I just knew it would be the right thing. Is what there's some kind of fucking quote like that out there.
You're full of quotes today, man.
What's that, Donovan?
You're full of quotes today, man. You're getting everyone pumped up, man. I love it.
Well, after a loss when you're fucking kicked out of another competition where you could argue was one of 2 legitimate chances we could have tried to put a run together. We didn't put a run together in fucking either. We started walking and won, and then we fell. And to me, that's just not good enough. But I caveat it by saying, if we do that again next year, I'm going to be fucking pissed. I'm going to be like Ben. I'm going to be saying we have to change, because by then we've had 3 windows with Ainge where we can say, look, I know what has happened in the past, but this is what Ainge is showing me now with the players that he has. If we get another window, we finish, and in the summer we can get rid of some more of the dead wheels on this cart that we're driving, then we might be able to run. And there was a comment that I saw fly by earlier, which big up everybody in the chat, still over 130 across all 3 platforms. Do hit the like and subscribe. It is free. But I just think that, or the comment said, the wheels are moving. We're just not going anywhere. It's a lot of smoke, but we're not fucking moving. We're standing still. And I like that. It's just a moment of we have to get that e-brake off and then we'll go. So for me, Ainge, I'm not going to say that like this is some kind of systematic failure. And I'm not saying you said this, Ben. I'm kind of taking what you've said and what I've heard over the last 4 years and continue to hear. It's just I have trouble being like so upset about what has happened, bro. I've had relationships last a lot less longer than that, and a multitude of them in quicker succession that I had to get over quicker. So for me, there's no time to cry about the boo-boos in the past. We've healed. The scab is gone. It's time to breathe and trust that we're going to do something again. For me, again, I'm not telling anyone out there like, oh, this is how you have to feel. I always tell people like, you're allowed to feel however you want to feel. And in Ben's opinion, I see him correct. In his view standpoint of things, he's correct. But in my view standpoint of things, I think I'm correct too. And we can all view and like want things differently and then reflect on the past differently in regards to how we see the future going. So that's why I just have trouble being like, well, he got this wrong, and this wrong. Yeah, man, we all, get shit wrong, but things are different now. And the only hope is that we continue to take these little baby steps. That's all I asked for when we hired Ainge Postecoglou. In the summer, my energy was, it's okay if we don't get top 4. It's okay if we don't win a trophy. We are starting to build, not rebuild, starting to build something. And the way you do that is gut out the mold, gut out the dead wood, and start putting in pieces that can fucking sustain a household. So to me, I think we have started to do the baby steps. But it is now on the ownership to significantly do more than we've done in the past and support this manager, get in who he wants. And at that point, I'll take a step back and say, look, Ainge, now you've got who you want. You've got what is supposed to make your thing run. And if it's not running, then at that point, that's for me. What I do want to, we're almost creeping up on 2 hours. And I know.
With the Levy talk, by the way, we shouldn't have had that. But
what did you say?
You got to reflect on the ownership after a loss like that,
with that, but we shouldn't. It's
no, but I mean, I think it's still like I feel like they kind of almost go hand in hand at this point. Levy, the club, Ainge, and fans' expectations. I feel like all of those things are in hand to hand right now, and it is a discussion to have. It's not just a Levy thing, and this whole Levy, I'm on this side of the fence. To me, for a fan to say this is my side of anything, that's a little bit presumptuous of a stance, and it's divisive. It's divisive verbiage. Quite frankly, to say, well, here's the fence and I'm on this side. And if you're not on this side, you're X, Y, and Z. And to me, this ain't fucking high school. We're all adults. And I'm not saying anyone did that, by the way. Ben is just the counter argument to the way a lot of people see things. And honestly, Ben, like I said, your feelings about Levy are not wrong. Your facts that you say are not wrong. Those are facts, not opinions. What has happened in 23 years is written history, is factual documentation. But what goes on in the future is not. And so for us to take this and say, well, since this page was like this page and this page was like that means for sure the last few pages of that chapter are going to be the same. I don't like to read books that way, my personal opinion. But big up Chang. He's on the panel and he super chats. Says this super chat is for Mrs. Gina and every Spurs fan here, either watching live or on playback, for braving the dreaded post-match loss. Look, I think I feel like we're all. Does anyone here believe? Let me just ask before I fucking assume what anyone thinks. Does anyone here think that now we've gotten knocked out of 2 cup competitions, that this is on Ainge Postecoglou and now they're losing hope in what we can do with this manager? Does anyone on this panel feel that way? No, everyone shaking their heads.
Definitely not.
The manager's the right appointment. We can see this. It's been proven not only with the way that we play the football, it's the way that he acts, the way that he conducts himself. It's the coaching team that he's got. It's how he's united the fan base. It's how he's united the people in the back, from the cleaners all the way to the chefs. We've got people that have been put into positions now to help push the club forward. But the biggest cog in all that has been Ange Postecoglou and will continue to be with him. One loss doesn't mean that we're all going to turn on Ange. All of us, as a fan base, want to see a manager, at the bare minimum, finish the season off, as you said earlier, Jacob, right? But we don't just want Ange to finish the season off. We want Ange to see through his 4 years of this project and the building that he came to do. And Ange doesn't quit on teams. If it goes well for the 4 seasons, Ange will look to stay beyond the 4 seasons at the club as well. So we're all backing Ange, in my belief. And if people are thinking of not backing Ange, then they've got something seriously wrong with them, in my opinion.
No, that's fair. Does anyone have any caveats they want to say to Jose's point there?
Well,
I will
this goes
quick-
back to. Sorry,
Yeah,
go
Mr.
for it.
Donovan, you were saying? Go ahead,
Go for it,
Mr. Donovan.
Chad.
After you.
Mr. Donovan. Wow, thank you, sir.
He keeps calling me Mr. Bobby. He's just too nice.
You're
Stop
Mr.
being so
Kang.
nice.
Bobby, you're Mr. Kang.
We'll change him, Doug. Mr. Kang's my dad. Then I gotta call you Mr. Chang just so we rhyme. It'll be Chang and Kang. We'll start our own show, Asian Takeover.
Just a caveat. Nothing crazy where it's like I'm a Levy sympathizer extremist, but one good decision after another. Just keep putting that foot forward. Old leaderships and old recruitment teams wouldn't have gotten Dragusin over the line. Okay, we would have fumbled it. He would have went off to Bayern.
We're bigger than Bayern.
5 million. We've gotten our targets in.
Donovan,
right
say
away.
it. I need to hear you say it, Donovan. Just say
What's that?
those 3 little words. Bigger than Bayern.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say bottle job Bayern, but I mean same thing. Like that. No, but it is. We got the right guy in charge, and we got the right recruitment team, and we're a brand now. Like Tottenham Hotspur are a relevant household brand. Like, you know, we're no longer the maybe cup team that were at White Hart Lane down the road. We're global cemented fiscal powerhouse. So yeah, I really hope it doesn't go the way Kaufman's saying, you know, let's just get us in the top 4 and then we'll stop spending. So like Ash alluded to, you know, let's just give the guy a little bit of rein. Let's like you got that bad dog that you got to walk him across the block, and you just give him a little bit, because you know if you give him too much, he's going to run away. Just one transfer window at a time. We'll see how this goes. But I'm definitely with you, Jacob. If it's this time next year and we're knocked out of both cups and we're sitting here on our ass again, you know, then there's questions to be asked.
I'm gonna be a lot less fucking patient about this whole what we doing.
Yeah,
know?
I'm not gonna be
If we
Mr.
can't get
Donovan
past
then.
the first round of one and the second round of the other, I'm gonna be an angry Jacob. So I agree with you there, Donovan. Chang, there was something you were going to come in with, and then I want to start getting some final thoughts and final outlooks from everybody before we say goodnight.
There was one thing actually I wanted to bring up earlier with regards to Brennan Johnson and his performance tonight. I mean, it's easy for us to scapegoat and pinpoint particular players right now after such a damning loss. And I was about to blurt out that given Brennan Johnson's ineffectiveness and how we've been recruiting players of late with regards to our forward players in the wide positions, I was about to suggest that maybe we could return Brian Hill back to Sevilla and maybe just even bring Eric Lamela back, if that even helps to a certain extent with our going forward in matches. But looking back at how Paratici in particular has been rebuilding the team, how we've been shipping out Deadwood, the likes of Jet Spence, hopefully you've seen the last of Ndombele, Eric Dyer as well, maybe even Tanganga too in the near future. I will certainly give Big Ange time to reshape and mold the team in his image, the way he wants to play his Ange ball. It's now down to us fans to just tough it up with him. Levy has a lot to answer for. Don't get me wrong, Mr. Kaufman. And I'm sure if Brian Daigle was on this show as well, he would have a lot to say about the loss tonight. But let's just give Big Ange time for him to implement his Ange ball. Let's just get behind the players that we have, because in all honesty, if Brennan Johnson is Big Ange's choice on the wing, so is Timo Werner as well. let's just see.
No,
where this
Timo
goes.
Werner wasn't his choice. He said that Timo Werner was presented to him by Johan Lange and that he accepted it. So technically, he said okay, but he didn't say that's my guy. He came out and kind of made that statement of like, yeah, Timo Werner was something that Johan Lange and his assistant Anderson or Henderson, I don't remember what his fucking name was, but Johan Lange and him were like, hey, we could get you this guy, 6-month loan, Timo Werner. He said, yeah, sure.
It's a statistical signing. It's a statistical signing.
I think we just needed a fucking warm body on the left while Sonny's gone, in my opinion. But Chang, go ahead and finish your point. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
It's okay, it's fine. So I was about to wrap up saying that, you know, at this point I'd rather return Brian Hill and get Eric Lamela back. Maybe in hindsight, Brennan Johnson should have been a loan signing all this while, rather than a permanent. But let's see where this goes. Let's just fully trust Big Ange and see what he has in store for us. I really am looking forward to the midweek game on the 31st of January at home. I believe it's Bournemouth, is it? Are we playing Bournemouth at home? There is a midweek game on the 31st of January at home. Get behind the players and Brentford. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Brentford on the 31st. Yeah, on Wednesday.
Yeah,
we got Brentford, them damn bumblebees.
Let's not get this one loss down. Let's not let this ruin our weekend. We'll just hold our heads high. We'll march on and come on, you Spurs.
Get in there, Chang. Talking to me nicely on a Friday night.
I'm loving
Love that. He puts it on the fucking chest, man. Real quick, big up Patty Hartnett. Patty Hartnett got a super chat here. Says, jokes aside, we're all Spurs fans and we all want the best. Be it in or out, we all have a common goal. P.S. Benny is a legend and Bobby is a beautiful American tool. Well, if it's like any other American tool, it doesn't work. But I know Bobby works. I know that for a fact. He puts food on the kids' table, which speaking
at
of...
least twice.
at least twice a day, which is the bare minimum, I think. They say 3 meals a day, but technically you can escape with just the one. But before we say goodbye, I want to go around and get the panel's final thoughts. Big up, Patty. Thank you so much for the super chat. And big up to everyone who is a continuing member of the show. I am trying to do more for the members. So just remember, if you are a member, I'm trying to make it fucking at least worth the $2 a month. So we'll keep working on it. But let me go around the corner and Jose, I hear your mic's on, so I'm gonna go to you first. What are your final thoughts, takeaways from this game? Do you have anything looking forward?
You know, at the end of the day, we saw it for what it was. We had one shot on goal in the whole of the 90 minutes. You got to take the L because that's what it is. It's an L. We've got to take that, get back onto the training pitch, and get ready for Brentford. We've now got the clear run at just playing league games, getting the players back fit, and let's see whether we can stay fit, and let's see what we do for the last half of the season.
Love it. Love it. Big up. And Jose at El Tel Cocarel and Talking Ball. I put all the guest links. Their channels are in the description. So if you're looking, hey, I heard I like that person, what they had to say, I want to hear more. Or if you want to just be a fucking supportive person, you know, you like hitting likes because it helps folks and it's free, go and just click every single link and subscribe to everybody. But thank you so much, Jose, for that. And I'll just go right around the wheel here. Bobby from 3 Spurs Boys also in the description of this video. If you're on playback, you can subscribe there to 3 Spurs Boys. Help them get to 1K ASAP. Bobby, what are your final thoughts, takeaways from this match and looking forward? You got anything sweet and decadent like a tiramisu or cupcake with some nice frosting?
You know, baby, I am what I eat. So chocolate cake.
Oh,
keep it brown, baby. Keep it brown. Everybody likes chocolate. Everybody likes chocolate. Takeaways from the game. We were outplayed by
I am a chocolate
what is
fan.
arguably one of the best football teams in the world right now. With one of the best managers in the world. He came in, they executed their game plan perfectly. They cut off all our passing channels. They completely compressed our ability to move the ball forward properly and get it up to our forwards and get anything done. We were completely ineffective. Jose already said it, one shot on net. That just tells you, as a team, we completely failed. All we can do is move forward. I personally am happier that I can. It's easier to stomach a loss to City than it is to Sheffield or Fulham or what happened in the Carling Cup kind of thing. So this one's a little bit easier to take. Doesn't make it better. The sad reality is I think this kind of gives us no more in January. If people think other players are going to come in, there's no reason for it now. I think the board's just going to, knowing the board, who we have, I think they're just going to ride it out and say, we got to look at how well we did the first 10 games of the season. All of those players are coming back for you now and everything. We're going to get back on the same track. So
everyone's predicting us to get top 4 again. Yeah, now everyone's talking nicely to us, like we are for sure shoo-in for top 4.
Levy, like Ben already said, Levy spends to the point where he gets all of us back into this deluded happy train, and then shows us the true colors again. I hope they're all wrong though. I hope for once my delusions are finally realized and I can celebrate something. But that being said, before
I think there's going to be at least one more deal. I agree with Patty.
I hope so. But I just want to say this. I just got a message from Scott M here just saying, don't worry, Bobby. Keep your head up. We are going to win the league this year. Don't be too gutted about the FA Cup. Van de Ven is the greatest player I've ever seen. Have some faith. I think Levy's going to get it right finally. Don't criticize the board too much, buddy. I know you don't like the way they do things, but I have faith in them. You know what, Scott M? That's why I call the guy Captain Positivity. It's stuff like that.
Big up Scott M for all the fucking positive words.
Always positive, man.
These fireworks are for Scott.
Much.
That's for you, Scotty. That was such a lovely message you texted Bobby K. I love to see that, my friend. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, but for other nonsense from me and my good man Kuva, who is unfortunately down for the count right now, send them your well wishes over here on the Three Spurs Boys, and we do a little Friday night laugh along kind of show, a little bit of football and more stupidity than anything. Just try to keep things lighthearted, and we are actually going to start doing a football show, Jacob. He's going to make me start.
Oh, for God's sake.
I did see that February 8th or 6th. You'll have an actual football show. We were supposed
to do it yesterday. Yeah, we were supposed to do it yesterday. But
I'll be sure I make sure to get in there and start yelling at everybody because that's always fun to do. Jose likes it when I do that. I just jump into talking ball chat and I'm like, ha, here's what I think. And I'm all like, oh, and then I'm wrong. And then I'm like, oh, hey, that's part of the fun, right? Making predictions, getting them right, getting them wrong is part of the fun. But Callum, what a debut. I wish it could have been longer. So my friend, would love to have you back on the channel whenever you want. Just shoot me a message on Twitter or something. Would love to have you on more often and get your thoughts. But Callum, what do you got for me, my friend? What are some final parting words, thoughts, your expectations of the season? You have any hope for us?
Well, thanks, Jake. It was a pleasure. I remember when I first started following you, beginning of the season, you were inviting everyone around to the party. There was a barbecue. Maybe some who were more invested would get into the pool. I was fully in the pool. I had my cocktail. It had an umbrella in it. Like, I was fully cool. And Chelsea came in like a bunch of hooligans, started chucking cans in the pool.
Started pissing in the pool too. Yeah.
So we had to deal with that. And, I think we've ejected them and we're going to get the party back on track.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to clean up the venue and then we can resume the party. It was like they came, then the cops came, and then now everyone's starting to settle down a little bit. We're cleaning up.
Showed up.
Yeah, someone got tased, but he was okay.
Yeah. I like that. A little, hey, you were there. So it sounds like you were right comfy in the pool with Paul, my man Paul and Kuva. They were both in the pool, feet up, umbrella in the drink, everything. I love to see it. But, we can still get back there. We just got to clean the pool a minute. It might take a little bit longer than we expect, but the party's still happening, my friend. Donovan, this isn't the first. I think this might have been the first time you've been on United Spurs of America, but I know we've chatted on Irish Hotspur and stuff before in the past. But Donovan, thanks for maybe this was your debut. I'm sorry if it was and I didn't here's some fireworks for you, Donovan. But do you have any final parting words for us? Any final hopes? Yeah, that's for you, Donovan.
Yeah, no, just you give the guy probation. You're looking at the walking reincarnation of the justice system. You start off on the wrong path, you may end up going in the right direction. So don't give up too early. It's always darkest before the dawn.
I think Sweden has the I think it's Sweden, Donovan, with the highest. Like if you get incarcerated, you never get incarcerated again. Whatever the number is on that, they have the highest of that. So we need to treat this like a Swedish prison system, not American, because American is all built on return customers, much like the doctor's office here in America. But that's besides the point. Carry on.
Well, good thing we got a ginger from Sweden then, hey?
Hey,
so,
yay, I like that.
Couple quick points. Vicaria was fouled. I got a screenshot to prove it. Brennan Johnson's going to be the next Gareth Bale. We're winning the league by 4 points. And Canada are going to top their group in the World Cup. So come on, you Spurs. Let's go.
There we go, Donovan. I love it. Ben, my friend at the coffee company, which is also in the description of this video, which you should go subscribe to right now, his daily streams, except on the weekends. He enjoys his weekends off. But Ben, what you got for me? Final thoughts, predictions, feelings going forward, whatever you want to talk about. Whoa.
What happened?
I don't know.
Predictions is chill out. As we all said at the beginning of the season, this is a free hit of a season. This is the year to clear out the deadwood. It's the year to shake off the cobwebs. Stop putting so much pressure on a new manager, to a new Premier League system, to a new team, to an organisation. Get well soon to Coos as well, because we all love Coos. That's my guy. As well as
Did
Bobby.
he get sick? I know he was moving, and he said he might not have internet.
He's really bad right now, bro. Maybe COVID bad, unfortunately. Oh yeah, I talked to him today. He's absolutely horrible.
All right. Thanks for everyone letting me know to reach out to Papa Kuv. But here's some hearts for Kuva. Hopefully he's sleeping right now and not watching this.
Wait a minute.
Hearts
You're
are for you, Kuva.
you're trying to tell me you haven't heard from Kuva in 24 hours? You didn't send him a message to check up on him?
It's actually been like 72 hours since
nice.
I've last heard from Kuva. That's far too long.
This is the problem. Too busy worried about your wife and your child and the baby on the way and stuff.
Which, speaking of, she's been
stop letting
speaking
real
of,
life
she's
get
been
in the
poking
way
her
of
head
your-
in here
your-
like,
your
are you done
virtual
yet?
friends, okay?
Daddy's at work. Settle down.
Don't make me come in there.
Quick teaser. 2000
Don't you make me get out of my chair now, boy. Ben, my friend.
Hard when he does the deep accent.
But yeah, find us at the coffee company at 8 the Broadway, Woodford Green. We've got an amazing new coffee at the moment called Does Not Belong on Pizza, which is a experimental pineapple process, and you should all drink it. It is fantastic. I've tried it today in a couple of ways. And yeah, you should all try it. But the chillest corner of YouTube, as Jacob likes to call it, chill chats every single day, except on a Wednesday where I'm joined by Bobby, and then we burn the place down.
except Wednesday. Are you Patty all of a sudden? What the hell?
Maybe.
You wear that hat on your channel, man. I'll bring on my
that's exclusive. You can only catch Ben in the cowboy hat on this channel.
That's for the United Spurs of America.
It's for United Spurs.
That's right. That's when
of
he comes
America.
down here and he says, "I'm the coffee. You better smell what the coffee is brewed." Jee-haw!
So Spurs. Big up,
Yeah. Big up, Ben. Yeah. Ash. Lovely Ash. Always great to have you on the channel. Again, you didn't need to pick up that membership to join the show, your family. So big up. I know we can find you. You got a show tomorrow. Or was it this morning? You and Ellie had a show, like, it was this morning?
Yeah, it was.
Go ahead.
It
was like 3
but yeah,
a.m.
you can find me on Talking Ball and all of that jazz. I would like to say, get well soon, Kuba. That pool party that Callum's talking about kind of looks awesome. So if it's going to happen after the AFCON and the Asian Cup, you got to be ready for it. So Kuba, put on your best swim gear. It's happening. And I would also say, I have been impersonating Kuba illegally online. So Kuba, you must come back just so that you can stop this criminal in her tracks. Because,
Ash is an amazing Kuva for an hour. It was the best thing ever.
I was going to say, bro, is she in Brewing Bollocks? Because that explains why all of Kuva's picks all of a sudden had a bit of a tan to them.
Yeah.
Something's going on, Benny. We're going to have to check into that later, bro.
Scandinavian, getting some sun. Very nice. But big up, Ash. Any words of hope going forward for Tottenham Hotspur?
I mean, the silver lining getting out of the FA Cup is that we don't have to play it anymore, and that means we can focus on the league. And now that we have to focus on the league, and everyone else has Europe or other things happening for them, that means that we can go up high on the table. So it's going to be a good season.
I love it. Ash, I feel like you give enough like sweet and sour sauce on a Chinese dish. You know what I mean? Or when I say Chinese dish, American Chinese, okay? I mean, not authentic Chinese, American Chinese. So when they have that sweet and sour sauce, it's like just enough spice, enough sweet. Very nice, very tasty. The Chang, my man, the man with the plan. Talk to me nicely. Are you making any surprise appearances on Talking Ball anytime soon? Scheduled appearances, anything like that? Any hope for Tottenham looking outward?
Okay, so with regards to my Talking Ball appearances, currently I'm trying to work something out with Miss Ash for our weekly Wednesday 11 a.m. UK time appearances on a regular basis. For this coming Wednesday on January 31st, we would like to do a pre-match build-up to the Brentford home game. Although I might have to do a little rescheduling with Miss Ash over here, because there is a friendly, a Malaysian Masters friendly, which I have to deputize in goal for just before the match. But hopefully I can squeeze my show in with Ash before that friendly and also before the kickoff. I would also like to give a quick shout out to Queen Ellie, who was on with me and Ash just hours earlier before kickoff. My final thoughts on today was I actually started today with high hopes. I distinctively remember watching Senor Garcia, Mr. Kaufman, and also Ian Meff with the Resonator on Tottenham on Tour before I did my show with Ash and Queen Ellie, and everyone was very upbeat. And even now, after the game's all done and dusted, and we are trying to move on from this one quite it's a damaging loss. Make no mistake about it. But I mean, we still move on. That's how life works. And I was also reminded of the last time we actually won a trophy. If you remember the.
Well, Joe Leone's here. He'll always remind us. Joe Leone, that Arsenal fan, he'll give us the fucking minutes and seconds since we last lifted that Carling Cup. Don't you worry.
No, because
I think he's gone to bed though. It's after 8 o'clock now. I haven't seen him in the chat in a while.
Oh yeah, his mama must have put him to bed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to. That's exactly what I was trying to bring up, because every time I see people like Joe Leone trying to bring up the last time we won silverware or trophy or anything of that sort. If you cast your mind back to that one very, very dark time under Juan de Ramos, where it was just 2 points. If I remember correctly, it's 2 points from 7 games before he was sacked. That was. If you compare that with what we have now under Big Ange, I would say just trust in Big Ange, trust in the project. Of course, this sounds very cliche coming from me, who's never been to N17, never been to Britain, or maybe even out of Asia for what I know for the rest of my life. But as a Spurs fan,
that doesn't make you any less of a fan, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. But what I just want to say is, I mean, we as fans, we can only hope for the best. We just get behind whatever players, whatever staff, whatever management the club has for us. We hope for better things, and here's to better things for the end of the season and onwards and upwards. That's all I have to say.
Love that. Onwards and upwards every single time. Chang,
nice one, Chang.
Such a blessing every time you're here in person. What a blessing. I do want to set up a I want to connect with you, Chang, and get you on a show, not just a members show. Want to just have a show with you, my friend. So big up Chang every single time. Always blessing the chat with his love, his words, and I appreciate you always spreading the generosity. Before we get on out of here, I'll give you my final words and thoughts. But before I do that, let me make sure I say thank you to those of you who I'm going to say sponsored the show tonight, because I did a lot of cursing, which is probably going to take away the ad money. But fuck it. Who gives a damn? I don't, because y'all are blessing me tonight. Ash P, hit us with the membership. Big up Ash P. RX Beat. This episode was most certainly sponsored by RX Beats. Hit us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 super chats from RX Beats.
Where is that? Sorry, Jacob. Czar. What is that? I'm just curious.
Zimbabwe. I don't know.
Just curious. Just wondering.
Big up RX Beats, wherever currency this is. I'm not sure. I'm sure someone.
South African.
South African.
Thank you guys, because I was just about to Google it too, but of course, straight to Pornhub as always. But never mind.
Well, actually, RX Beats had 8 super chats. So big up RX Beats every time. This episode was definitely sponsored by RX Beats tonight. So I do appreciate that. It was also sponsored in part by Patty Hartnett for 1, 2 super chats from Patty. Big up Patty, and they were all loving on Bobby as always.
50% credit for those. Yeah. One was directed fully towards me. The other one is a partial dig at me. So
yeah, I'm on one.
They even each other out, I would say. And big up Gina as well, sponsoring the channel tonight with her $20 donation. Big up Gina Hunt. Always great to have you in the chat, my friend. Just bigging up Chang. Chang, you are the sweet that attracts the flies and the ants. You are the sweet that attracts the bumblebees as well. So you are the pollen that helps fertilize the gardens. And before I keep going on any further, big up Gina. Thank you so much for spreading the love. And then Chang again, unnecessarily but much appreciatedly, sitting in a super chat.
Doing my
part. Just
doing my part.
You being here is doing your
Spurs
part,
Squad.
man. You're off.
Chewy is here. He's been here the entire show. Chewy, get up and do a little spin for the people. Chewy, get up and do a little spin for the people. Oh,
ladies and gentlemen, at this very point, Chewbacca awoke in the dark marshes.
Well, I woke him up. Now he's like, "Are we getting out of here?" Because normally I only tap him.
Spot the bull story. Sorry, you've missed. Jacoby and Chewy are very prominent over on Spot the Bull here, buddy.
Which, speaking of Spot the Bull, you can find at 3 Spurs Boys in the description of this video. You can get more Kuva there. And big up Ellie with Just a Girl Loves Spurs with the 20-pound donation. Says, for your boy, Jake. Did you mean this furry boy or the one that's in the living room screaming like a wild banshee because he just woke up from a nap and he's full of energy, ready to... really, when I'm going to go out there with...
Little Jacob.
Yeah, what's going to happen is I'm going to be a jungle gym as soon as I get out there. It's just on site. He's going to say, it's time for you to flip me and swing me and throw me. And that's all. That's what I'm good for. But you know what? We all find our calling in life, and I finally found mine. So very, very thankful for you, Ellie. A supporter of the channel, really, since the channel was first conceptualized, I should say. So big up Ellie. Thank you so much for always being... She's always made me feel, even when I was just a wee lad, like I'm part of North London. So I do appreciate that from the Queen of North London herself. If she says you're in the group, then by golly, you're in the group.
She's a queen for a reason, buddy.
Big up Ellie. Thank you so much for that late but great donation. Says for little Jacob. I appreciate that. It will. All this money does help me pay. Speaking of, I think I'm late. Electricity bill, internet bills, all that stuff. So thank you so much. Y'all really do help keep the lights on here at the Wall Raven household. So big up and thank you so much for that. And big up to all the YouTube chat members. Again, if you're a member, we're going to be doing this at least once a month. I'm trying to do twice a month. And if I work really hard, I can definitely make it happen. So a little bit more bang for your buck as a member, but appreciate all the members and everyone who did do the free thing, which is like, subscribe, and partake in the poll. The poll, I see 196 votes. If we're not at 150 likes, I'm going to give you raindrops. All right, you're all getting raindrops. We're not even at 110 likes. Why are you making it rain? 106 likes, and there's 190 people, 90, not 19, 90 people voted but didn't like the video. I don't know what we did to make you so upset, but you know what? It's okay. You're allowed to live the life that you so want to live.
Probably Patty.
But what would Vicario do?
You must have had a great view of that.
Wow, unbelievable from the back. Yeah.
So from the back end of the show, you can for sure hit a like. At least one time. I didn't play nearly as much clips because it's not just me and my shitty jokes trying to make it through a show. It was actually all these beautiful people joining the panel. Big up Donovan, said his phone died, but big up Donovan. I appreciate you being here. And before we could even get out of here, Ellie with another late great donation says, keeping the lights on just a little bit more. And you know what? For this, you know what? My pregnant wife now, I'm going to tell her, stop making dinner, honey. I'm getting you some Chinese food. No, maybe not Chinese food. She doesn't want Chinese. Probably whatever she wants. But you know what? I'm going to tell her, get yourself something nice. Get this for my wife. Appreciate that, Ellie. Thank you so much for the 2 late great donations. Wow. Blessing this episode also brought to you by Queen Ellie of North London. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Ellie. Again, you bless me enough throughout the weeks. But thank you so much for always being here. That shit definitely means something to me, Ellie.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
This shit means something to me, man. I will be back tomorrow whenever my son decides to take a nap. So keep it locked. Hit the notification bell if you want some more. And we'll talk. Who knows what the fuck we'll talk about. I'll probably try and distract myself from the reality of what just happened. But you know something else that does make me smile? I'm going to play a stupid clip, but this makes me smile. If you watch Nobbins when he was on the show, I had a nice little dance video of him. Here's him dancing on the show, by the way. And if that can't put a smile on your face, well, damn it. Come find me and I'll give you a hug. But until next time, I'll see y'all tomorrow right here on United Spurs of America. Again, dubs in the chat for Chang every single time. Dubs in the chat for Ellie. Dubs in the chat for Ash, Jose, Bobby K, Callum, Ben, Colin, Donovan, Ostraika. Big them all up. And without you all, this thing that we call United Spurs of America just doesn't happen. So big up. Thank you so much for everybody. As always, folks, remember to stay Black. What? Oh no! Apparently, Lee Gunner posted about me again. Are you serious? This guy.
Nice.
This is the second time he's talking about me.
He likes you.
What are we doing here?
He likes you. It's Jacob, man.
The world's most random beef, bro. How did I make someone? What did I do? What did I do,
man? He's got a man crush on you. It happens, man.
Talk to me nicely, Lee.
I got a bad man crush on. I told my wife at the pub last week at the game that I might leave you. It's going to be free.
Taka, was it on Twitter or was it on his YouTube channel? Was it because I played this clip? I hope it's because I played this clip.
Lee, he's married.
Yeah, bro, I am taken.
Destiny Adoji. Oh, yes. Oh, Destiny Adoji Day. Hey. Idiots, man.
Oh, I can
it's
picture
on
the next one. Jacob messaged me. Jacob messaged me, Day.
You know what I bet it was? What his little Soviet Russian spy was in the chat telling us the timer on how long it's been since we.
That's probably
maybe
him.
that's what I. Let's see. Let's look at this together real quick before we say goodbye, shall we? Says just been sent these gems. Well, it's not just me, it's everybody. So apologies for everyone on this panel. He's talking to all of us.
Oh, even me? I made the cut?
Bruce,
Oh, I did.
under
Oh,
Rangers
thanks,
coaching,
bro.
He can be
You didn't
coached.
quote me,
At
yes.
the moment, he looks.
Yes. Lee Gunner likes me.
I don't know why. I don't know it's the magnitude of the club he's gone to that because he's a Premiership footballer. He's played in the Premiership for a couple of seasons with Forest, but he seems to be like a rabbit in the headlights. I mean, watching him tonight.
She's actually talking about you, Jose, so far.
He just growing confident for me. I haven't made any of them comments.
It says question for the panel. Are you happier as a Spurs fan than you?
I've watched, and it's still in progress. It's still a project. We're still in progress.
You happier now than you've been in the last 4 years? So yeah, you've already seen this part of the show, but he's talking about us, so that's always nice. Here, real quick.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, big up.
What's his name? Lee?
Lee Gunner. Yeah, you might just don't Google Lee Gunner wank live stream. Just don't Google that.
The first thing that came up, dude.
Oh, what do you know?
It's him.
A guy who let some
Holy
other dude
shit,
wank on
somebody-
streams talking shit about me.
Live
Wow.
on his YouTube show. It's the first
Wow.
You must have had a great view of that.
Wow, unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed.
That's because the only Lee Arsenal one I know is that Lee Judges, obviously, right? But
Yeah.
wow.
Back to the show,
yeah.
Jacob. Stay blessed.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. What a nice little treat
I know what I'm
to end the
feeling
show,
now.
and I'm sure it'll give us something to talk about tomorrow. But big up Joe Leone for helping spread the good word of United Spurs of America. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you are. But big up everybody. Until next time, make sure you do a few things for me. And that's, as always, I need you to stay blessed. I need you to stay fresh. Up the lads, and come on, you Spurs.
Cut.
Kuss, 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 kuss.